everybody. I'm Joe.
I'm Derek.
I'm Matt.
We are the host of
Beats, Balls, and Bourbon.
The vodcast of the Groove Machine, Cooper's Drumline. And also we help out Scouse's House and everybody else. And this is our official vodcast. Very happy to have you. We have a great show tonight. Finally getting back to doing supporter stuff as opposed to the things that we had done in the past. We've had some great shows recently. We had, going backwards, James O'Connor. We've had Mario Sanchez, Hackworth, Niall McCabe. Some great shows that you can go back here on Twitch. And you can check out. Also, the edited versions of the show are on YouTube. If you look up Groove Machine, plus the audio-only versions, which we've been getting a lot of new subscriptions for. You can find that on iTunes and Google and all other things. To my right is the Sultan of social media.
Sultan.
I can't think of anything else. The Sultan's the best I got there. Derek Davis, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good, man. How was Chicago?
It was fun. It was very cold.
Oh.
And I got a lot of work done. I passed all of the hardest tests that I could pass.
Well, that's cool.
So now when I go back, I've got that as my...
And when's the next time you have to go back?
I'm not sure yet.
Oh, okay.
It'll probably be... hopefully when it's summer.
And you saw Jim. You saw Jim Tosh.
Yeah, Jim and I hung out. We watched the Chicago Blackhawks game and had a really good time up there, man. His house is coming along.
Yeah, man. I stayed with him a few months ago, and he was still working on it. But
he's done a lot to it. It's crazy.
I have no doubt. Matt Owens, how are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you, Joe?
Your beard looks manlier and manlier.
Why, thank you.
Every day.
I try.
I mean, not really every day, but kind of every day.
I mean, it has its off days.
So, and everything else as well?
Can't complain.
Family's good?
Yeah, pretty much. My mother's birthday. Happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday to Matt's mom.
Yep.
And I'm finally over this damn flu thing. If you haven't had it, you don't want
Better
it.
be.
You do not want it.
No.
It's the worst. Like it was, not last Sunday, the Sunday before, Saturday before that, whatever night it was. I'm laying in bed and I'm like, I think I'm going to die. It's so bad. Oh my gosh, it's terrible. But
you just surface every once in a while to post dire warnings importance.
Yeah,
I gotta again. If
I'm offline for 3 days, it's because either I don't know, I hit the lottery or I'm dead. And so
you could be in hiding. You never know.
Yeah, well, anyway, let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you all for joining us who are here. Once again, this show will be available as always on Twitch afterwards for those of you that join us live. And we've been getting a lot of compliments. We really appreciate that. Let me go backward through the guest list. Later on, we'll have Taylor Sorrels who's going to be here. We're going to talk about the roster. He's really going to focus on that. Cody Ruth is here. Really looking forward to talking to him about Scouse's House. I'm going to mess this up. Paul Prestigiacomo is going to be here for talk about the newest supporter group.
Yep.
Sheepspen.
Newest recognized
one.
Really
or
awesome.
Official or whatever they call that.
I guess that's official or not official. Liza Weeter is here to talk about Angel Share. Looking forward to hearing that. And then our first guest in a little bit will be Robin Pryor, who has a brand new podcast. She will be on in a little bit, but let's talk about a couple things first. We're going to be doing... actually, why don't you talk a little bit about the new media, the new affiliate thing, Derek?
Hey, we're Twitch affiliates now. So
thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we grinded through and we made it, and we're more than happy. If you'll notice, there are definitely a few new things on the stream right now. You'll have to look around, particularly this guy right here. This is a phantom bourbon glass. All of the people are staring at the table like, what the hell is he pointing at? If you donate bits to the channel, bits are a Twitch currency. So you can go down the bottom of your screen right next to your chat window. There's a little icon down there. You click on that. It'll tell you what you can do to get bits. And as we were saying earlier, you can show us your bits.
Give us your bits.
So bits is like a Twitch currency. It's like a penny per bit. So $1 you can donate 100 bits. A certain percentage of that goes to the stream. We're going to use that to upgrade. We're going to put a curtain up behind me. It's a noise canceling curtain. We're also going to put a couple of shelving racks back here that are going to have many assorted items from Louisville City lore. Nice. And let's see, you can now subscribe to the channel. You can subscribe with a normal Twitch subscription, or you can go into Amazon Prime and you can subscribe to the channel for free if you've got Amazon Prime. Couple small steps. You go to subscribe. There's going to be a drop down. You can click on Amazon Prime. It's a couple clicks. And then as always, we still take followers. We love the follows. We'll take all that we can get. We love everyone that's joining us. We love all the support that we've gotten over the last few months.
Especially our friends from Turkey.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. When you watch this later, how's it going? But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Drop some stuff in the chat. There's lots of stuff for you to kind of explore in there now, and again, we appreciate it.
Thank you so much once again. A couple things coming up next Saturday, not this Saturday, but next Saturday. Could really use your help if you're hanging out. If you're not doing anything Saturday afternoon between 12 and 4, we're going to be doing this podcast from Harbor House. We're going to be doing an open house. They are the charity that we're doing the mini marathon for. Got some new racers, some new members. I think we're up to 28, which is great. Looking to add some more. But we're really going to start pushing the donation end of that too. We have a very aggressive hope for that is $10,000 by the end of April. Big ask, but if we're going to do this, let's do it and let's really go for it. We're going to be doing a show eventually, a couple shows coming up in the future. We want to do the barrel building show. People have asked about that. That'll be a lot of fun. So we're going to try and get together with Ken and Ken Luther and Rebecca and try and make that happen. A couple other things going on in the future as well. We have a rehearsal, our first rehearsal. We're kind of planning either March 14th or 15th. I'm still literally waiting for scheduling on a show that I'm judging because I got back into judging. Somebody shoot me in the face. But no, I love doing it. It's just like 35 years I needed to take a break. But I'm doing it again this year. I have a show on the 14th. I don't know. They still haven't released a schedule for it. So I want to do it at the parade. Maybe not. So we're trying to work that out. Would love to have people that have never been to a rehearsal if you want to learn some of the chants. One of the questions we always get is, we don't know the words to this, we don't know the words to that. Come to the rehearsal. Mm-hmm. There'll be beer. And
to which we say, that wasn't a question, but come to the rehearsal.
Yeah, exactly. Also, just a real quick thing about Matt. Maybe you could touch on this. We had a great meeting yesterday. I thought it was a great meeting.
We did. That was a pretty good board meeting.
So is there anything, real general you want to touch on very quickly before we move on? Or
let's see. We got a lot done as far as the we've had a lot done going into this year, preparing for the Angel Share, which we're going to talk about later on. And it's just, last year was really impressive, and this year looks like it's going to be kicked up even another notch. So I'm really looking forward to see how that turns out. In other news, we had the first batch of the Louisville Cooper's Parkas.
Right.
I can talk, people. I swear I can. They came in.
I'm touching his leg. That's what. No.
Yeah,
girl.
I'm enjoying it a little too much.
Yeah, girl.
That's right.
But
So anyway, we're looking, and sometime in the next couple of weeks, we're going to do a second run of these. We'll take reservations for maybe 2 weeks. If you want to get one of these parkas, they're $90. They're really comfortable. Mm-hmm. And get one. I like them.
Awesome. So more information later on. But you know what's going to happen now? A little music.
Well, there's this gentleman we haven't heard from
in a while.
Did you maybe hear from him?
I just heard from Uncle Luigi this week.
Okay, because I just got I got an email that just says play this.
Yes.
So I guess I will play this.
We're going to play this. Fire it up, and here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow is Valentine's Day.
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of cool. So to those of you that are in love or pretending to be in love or something, happy Valentine's Day to you. Hopefully you're going to do something fun tomorrow or whatever, or not, maybe not, maybe just hang out. So maybe you just hang out, whatever. But there are people that do stuff. Some of us are actually going to Wix tomorrow. We're going to go to Wix on Baxter.
Oh, nice.
But Uncle Luigi decided this week finally to send us something. And what it is that this is the very first poem that he ever wrote. And this is what he wrote the first time he got married. He proposed to his first wife, Vicky, with this back in 1955.
Yeah.
Now,
how many have there been?
I'm sorry?
How many have there been?
There's been 6.
Okay.
I think the 7th one we're not too sure about yet.
Okay.
It was in Cuba. We're not sure.
Man's got a lot of love.
He's got a lot of
leave it at that.
He's in his 80s, but he's got a lot of spunk. So he wrote this to his first wife, Vicky, who sadly, not too long after they got married, she died in a boating accident, apparently.
That's terrible. Just absolutely tragic.
Both of them went on a boat. She didn't come back. I'm just guessing. I mean, I don't want to get mad. But this is the way he proposed to his first wife, Vicky, here on Valentine's Day. I think it'd be kind of nice. And he called this poem to my Vicky. Oh, dear Vicky, the girl of my dreams. You are the moonlight that illuminates my life. And someday soon, if you will have me, I would be proudest to make you my wife. Since the first day I saw you at the Feast of San Gennaro, while you were swaying back and forth to Dean Martin tunes, I knew from that moment, Maron, I'd do anything to have you, even have to fight off all them other Mameluke goons. Like that guy Mario. Remember the one from 54th Street? That one, the time he gave you a wink? Then all of a sudden, about a week later, I don't know, he dropped dead after he had a sip of one drink. Or that other good-looking kid, Alfonso, who hit on you by the pool, even though I was standing right there. Sadly, he was found a week later. Somehow shot himself 4 times in the chest. A very sad and strange ending to that affair. I don't know what it was, Vicky. It's hard to decipher exactly what it is about you. That makes my heart go bing, bang, bang, bing, bang, like the 45 I have in my sock by my shoe. Maybe it's your lips, so luscious and red, like 2 big spicy Italian sausages under your nose.
Wow.
Or maybe it's your hair, brunette and so sleek, way down past your tuchus it grows. Maybe it's your eyes, alabaster and sharp, that somehow pierce me deep within. But don't worry, Vicky, it's not that your uncle runs a crew and I'm trying to find a way to sneak in. Nah, Vicky. You are the sauce to my spaghetti, the Romano to my cheese. You are the Tower of Pisa that never falls. You are the bake to my ziti, the Alfredo to my fettuccine, dearest Vicky. You are the meat to my balls. So with these words that I struggle to create, to display you's my deepest devotion, I will now fall to one knee and will let you see the depths of my truest emotions. Dear Vicky, with this ring, please make my heart sing. I will share my soul with you in no small amounts. And please don't get mad, the inscription says, to Matilda, my love. I mean, hey, it's really the thought that counts. And even though this seems cheap, my Vicky, I'm no creep. Say yes and make my life right. Besides, it's freaking cold. Just say yes before we get old. And after a glass of wine, I hope I get lucky tonight. That's romantic. I think that's romantic, right? Nice.
Something, yes.
That's, good for him. But that was his, I think for a first poem effort,
It's pretty good.
Uncle Luigi did pretty good there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm impressed.
Maybe that's why she disappeared on the boat. I have no idea. Robin, would you like to come up now? Ladies and gentlemen, our first guest tonight has a brand new podcast, and that's why we wanted to have her on to give her a chance to promote it. Robin Pryor.
Welcome.
Yes, hot brown. Oh, it's got a shirt. Very cool.
Yeah, sure.
No,
Nice. I like it.
Thanks.
How are you, Robin? Are you doing well? It helps. I don't know if that's muted. Is that muted?
No, it's not. You got to really get right
that
up on
cool?
top of the mic.
Yeah, you really want to stand close.
My headphones aren't this good.
No?
No.
Well, maybe we'll let you buy these. No, I'm kidding.
No, we need these.
How many bits?
How many bits? Oh, bits. Can we do bits? Somebody give us some bits. Show us your bits.
And my
I
left
think
side's
that'll be
my
a
good side,
lot.
so I'm happy.
How are you?
I'm good.
This is really great. I'm glad
I'm not cold anymore. I'm inside.
they're inside, so
Good.
it's chilly out
It's
there.
cold as balls outside.
There you go. It is cold as balls.
Cold as bits.
Bits. Cold as bits.
So are we now Bits, Balls, and Bourbon?
I guess could be.
Oh, man.
So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Pleasure to have you. First, before we do anything, anybody that's never been on the show, we like to ask everybody a little bit about themselves before they got involved with Lou City.
Oh gosh, just a girl who born and raised in Louisville and pay rent, feed dogs.
Okay.
Go to work.
Okay. So did you went to school out here? I'm assuming college.
So I didn't.
Oh.
I am working on my 4th college degree. I have 2
Nice.
associates, finished my bachelor's at Western, and finishing my master's here from Sullivan.
Wow,
And I graduate April 18th.
Masters in
HR.
Wow.
Oh, cool.
So
Very
I work
cool.
in HR, and
How to hire people and tell them why they're not part of the company anymore.
I'm very lucky. I don't do any firing.
Good
so
for you.
Nice.
Good
yeah,
for you.
I'm not the bad guy.
Okay. And apparently married.
I am. Phil is here with
Hi,
me.
Phil.
It's a treat for him. He never
Phil.
gets to hear me record, so
Okay.
him being here it's like a nice little treat.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
How long you guys been married?
Oh gosh, when Phil? September 2013. And then
Nice.
he came in the country September 2015. It took 2 years to get him here. So
Well, congratulations. So
Yeah.
that's great to hear. Are you a member of any of the supporter groups? I don't even know.
So I have chosen to remain officially unaffiliated.
Okay.
Neutrality.
That's cool.
Phil is a Scouts House member.
Awesome.
And I just am kind of a floater. So
Okay.
I float along the tailgates and among the supporters to love everybody. So
Okay, so you're sitting around one day and you're like, I want to start a podcast. I mean, how does that start up?
I really had an Elle Woods moment. It was really like I woke up. Well, I was I was inspired by Ken Luther's article about supporter group diversity.
Good call, because that really, you should go back and read that if anybody hasn't
Yeah.
read it. Ken wrote a fantastic article about that. Really was good. I mean, he's kind of a jerk, but that was pretty good. he's kind of. I love Ken. He does.
Ken's gonna get you.
He
No,
he just
Rebecca's
made,
going to get me. You won't.
Oh yeah.
he made some really valid points about just finding your place, and if you have something to say, just do it and say it. And I kind of sat on it, and I've always wanted to do a podcast, but I just couldn't really figure out what I wanted it to be in. And I kind of woke up one day and I thought, gosh, there's no women doing this.
Right.
I know Kelsey Steele is a big sports girl journalist, podcaster.
Mm-hmm.
So I know of her. She's not local, I guess, but isn't she in Indianapolis or?
I think Tampa.
She's in Tampa. Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's down south, right? I was going to say
Okay.
south, but I didn't.
So-
and I was thinking Indianapolis, and I was trying to. Well, I'm just being dumb.
I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm scattered. But so yeah, I just was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. And so I got on Sweetwater.com. Killer equipment. Oh, man, they're the
Yeah.
best.
I buy all my gear. I bought this board came from Sweetwater.
Yeah, and they give you candy.
Yes, I did.
Oh man,
I didn't get candy within these mics. I want candy now.
and they're relative. They're in Fort Wayne, so it's nice to support a local business. So I jumped on Sweetwater and was like beginner podcast equipment, and I got like a little combo mixer mic thing and just started talking into it.
And just going back, did you ever do any communications thing at all before? Is this the very first time that you ever?
Only in college.
Okay.
My undergrad was in English, so I had to
right,
do journalism as part of that. So that was my only experience doing it, and that was a long time ago.
That's
so,
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so now when you're doing this, did you have any idea as far as what kind of content you wanted to do, or did you want to find? I mean, what kind of content were you looking to do?
Yeah, I definitely wanted to talk about soccer, and I'm a soccer newbie. I'm a musician by trade. So,
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What do you play?
Flute, piano, and I sing.
Awesome.
So
So we're like almost kindred spirits, kind
sort
of.
I only got into sports early in the early 2010 decade. So
Okay.
I never attended a soccer match until Phil got here, and we watched that playoff game in 2015. So
Wow, good game to start.
yeah, it was cool. So I'm a total sports newbie, and they say you learn best by immersion, so we just never stopped going.
Is that the Charleston game with the two Fondy goals?
I was going to
at
say
the
the
end?
Fondy,
Was that
250.
Phil?
That was
Yeah.
the first year. The Fondy
Phil
goals.
says yes, so
Still one of my favorite moments. I mean, I know we've had bigger moments, but when he scores that goal the first year, we were in this. Oh my gosh, that was amazing.
yeah, it was a really cool game, and I was like, man, we got to keep coming back. The atmosphere was electric and addicting, and just compelled to come back. So just started getting immersed in it and enjoyed the community and enjoyed how much the players and the team were part of the community and just the culture of everybody. And
So now, are you looking to focus on anything specific? Is it just going to be general? Is it going to? I know you've got 4 shows already, right?
no,
5?
I just recorded 6.
6.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I'm getting ready to record 7 this weekend.
Wow. Once a week.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, I'm an overachiever.
No, good, man. We're friggin' lazy.
I was on the fence about focusing just on Lou City because there's so much, like, it's saturated with just Lou City content.
Right.
And I really wanted to take advantage of the NWSL coming.
Excellent.
And I really wanted to just showcase more local soccer.
Nice.
So one of my taglines I say way too much is soccer in the 502 or
Nice.
soccer in the Lou. So I want to really kind of branch out, and I want to bring in local soccer coaches and from the high schools or even from Bellarmine or U of L and some of the female perspective. We don't get a lot of that from what's
No, you're
existing.
right.
So
Absolutely.
I want to after I started, thinking about that's I think where I'm headed is the evolution of that.
And it's so important to get that voice out. It's not here. There's a weird balance. Okay, it's great. I mean, having the women's team here is amazing. We've been begging for that, and it's going to be tremendous because I think it's the first. We could be the first city that opens some new doors as far as professional sports is concerned, or in general, through a women's sports team.
Sure.
I don't think it's ever happened before.
Sure.
So that's the first thing that's amazing about it. The second thing is that there's nothing wrong. Like I get a little bit weird when people start talking about women supporting a team and men supporting a team because it's a team. But there's still differences. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Sure.
does that make sense? What do you
does.
think about that?
Yeah, and I'm, I get Google alerts every day for different soccer topics. That's really the only way I keep up with everything that's going on.
Right.
And just the difference in the coverage and just the difference in the way the journalism is written about men and women.
Right.
The women just lack the exposure that men get.
Right.
And they lack the funding and they lack everything that
Sure.
the male athletes get just by default. So
Right.
I am hopeful to, what little difference I can make to bring more awareness and bring more involvement to that. That's kind of my goal.
Well, already I'm really impressed by the fact that you just, you read that article and you stepped up and did something that nobody else is doing. I mean, it's just amazing. Here, it's amazing. It really is. And having that perspective is important. Having the balance between making sure that we support all the teams equally. I was wondering if you had any opinion about the academy stuff. I don't know if you've even thought about that yet, or some people have. Like, I've been really heavy focused on the academy stuff to the point where I don't even know what's going on with our own roster.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I've really been digging into this because it's really important for me. You can't have this without a foundation eventually.
Right.
But anyway, I don't know if you've had any thoughts.
I have not had a chance to really dig in as much as I want to. Right. And part of that's just because I work 40 hours a week and I'm adulting. So
nice.
if I could just get paid to, read news articles and talk about it on the radio, then I would. But eventually I will. And as the season starts, it'll be much easier, I think, to incorporate a lot more of that stuff in. But we're kind of in this weird limbo right now, and not a ton of stuff going on.
So if you've been focused on the NWSL stuff, general thoughts, anything that you'd like to share about what you think so far? I don't know if you've dug into players yet or anything like that. I don't know.
I haven't seen anything. I'm hopeful that once our season begins, and I'm hoping that JOC, that's one of his first things.
It is. He was here 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
He's very focused on
start developing the staff. So I'm just really keeping my radar,
Right.
watching for any movement on the team, because I follow and watch their Twitter every day, and there just hasn't been a ton of activity yet. So just waiting for it so I can strike.
And in the podcast itself, are you looking to do guests eventually? Are you looking to do anything like that? I mean, what's your vision for your own show?
Yeah, so I've already had my sister and my niece on, and this weekend I have one of the Lou City interns coming with me. She's the female intern. Her name is Ashley.
Excellent.
So she's going to sit and record with me. I got a partnership with Hometown Pizza to record in their location.
Awesome.
Cool.
So,
that's very cool.
I'm very excited about that.
Really good.
They were really, 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 really nice to work with, and I thought, what other way to support the team by supporting a business that supports the team. And so they're going to let me set up at a couple of their locations.
That's awesome,
and record there. So
that is awesome.
Yeah.
We can't go to places like that because we get drunk.
I think Ashley's underage, so I can't get drunk. So keep myself out of trouble.
If there's something that you would like to see, as far as the community itself, like everybody, not obviously you're saying yourself that you're not specifically part of any supporter group. If there's a couple things that you'd like to see from the community itself to work together to move towards, is there anything at all? Or
there was something really neat that I read about last week, and I briefly touched on it in my pod last week. Pittsburgh does this really cool event, and it's all these female athlete groups, and they have just a day of demos and meet and greets, and it's a big community event at the YMCA.
Right.
And I would love for all of our athletic communities to have something like that, where they can all meet each other, and the fans can come and they can meet the players, and they have demos, and they can show off their sport, and they can maybe even have some fans play with them for a scrimmage type of thing, or just some kind of big community involvement, just to have that sense of unity around everything that we're doing.
That's awesome. Is there anything going on over here that you might want to mention at all?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Matt, did you have anything? I don't want to talk, 'cause I talk too much, and I try not to. I try not to hog other people's time. I don't know. Am I doing that right now? Is there anything else you want to add, or no? You just want to sit here and look good?
That's
what you do.
I'm making sure that the stream stays up.
Okay, cool.
I have one plug to make.
Do it.
So a good friend of mine works at Harbor House.
Yes.
And I'm going to their gala on March 7th. So
Nice.
I promised her I would plug the gala. It's March 7th at the Hyatt Regency from 6 to 11 p.m. And ticket info is available on their Facebook, on their website. It's everywhere. So that's another big fundraising event for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm doing that, and now that I can attend the KDF Mini, I'm going to do that this year
Awesome.
as well.
Are you doing anything next Saturday?
Next Saturday.
If you have no plans, I mean, we're going to be there for 2 hours. If you want to help co-host for a little while, you're more than welcome.
Coming. Oh, that's so sweet.
No,
I'm not
seriously.
gonna be,
nice.
seriously,
Because
I'm
Matt
not going to be able to
can't
make it.
make
Jump
it.
in if you want to.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
Phil.
It's up to you.
I guess we're going.
But it's up to you. I mean, I'm sorry. I should have, and I feel like a little bit of a dope. I should have asked you before. I mean, I'm asking.
No,
I mean,
it's
just
okay.
sincerely. I mean, you're more than welcome to
Yeah.
and help us host it.
I think that'd be
for a little
awesome. I think I don't have my planner with me, but I think my calendar's clear. So
Well, that's
yeah,
cool.
let's do it.
Yeah, I'm more than welcome. Thoughts about? You've been to the stadium? I'm trying to, and I got some generic questions. I'm going to ask
It's
everybody.
okay.
Stadium?
My tour is on Sunday.
No, is it really?
Yeah, so I had a date, but it was the day of the Liverpool Man United match, and so I was already at Molly's by the time my time was scheduled, and I just couldn't go. I was like, "Sorry, Evan, I'm already at Molly's."
I mean, is it even worth watching this year?
What?
What's that?
That
The
game?
Liverpool's
So Liverpool.
murdering
Yeah,
everybody.
I know.
It's a
They're
foregone
crushing it.
conclusion, though, right?
They're crushing it. It's like the biggest rivalry in EPL. So, but yeah. So anyway, I finally got a rescheduled date, and we're going Sunday at 3.
That's cool.
I'm very excited.
So you haven't been yet?
No,
Oh.
I haven't seen it. I haven't even driven. I don't go that way ever.
Really?
So I've never even driven by
When's
it.
the you haven't driven by the
No, I
stadium
haven't
yet?
driven by it at all. I haven't.
I
seen
drove
it
by
at
it
all.
today when they were putting up all the
Today?
panels.
Today I saw driving over
It was
here,
pretty sweet.
They have
Oh,
they
the
have the
sign?
name of
Yeah.
they have the name of the team.
Yeah,
now.
yeah. They didn't have the only thing that they don't have on there is the
man,
bottom
wait,
panel.
you just can't wait.
I've only seen pictures, and I know they don't do it justice.
It's amazing. I'm just like I said. I don't geek out over architecture.
I'm pretty sure if you drove by that place at night when they've got that LED board up, you could see it from space. That's the brightest LED board I've ever seen.
You know the crazy thing? I drove by it the other day. Out of all those giant lighting trusses, there were like 4 lights lit, and you could still see just
Oh,
fine
wow.
into the stadium. So
That's gonna
it's
be
going to be
awesome.
crazy when that's all lit up like crazy.
I'm stoked.
So where are you sitting?
We are. We're not in standing. We're section 112 and to the left.
Okay, yeah, I know there's a
So-
lot of people I've heard that are doing that.
Yeah, we wanted just to sit. So
See, I can't sit during games. I don't think I've ever been to a soccer game that I sat
yeah.
as an adult. I just
Yeah. Well, we won't sit the whole time, but
right. I mean,
yeah. And it, when we were out in the tailgate area, and it was tough for us trying to rush in and grab the seats that we wanted in the GA section. So now we don't have to rush out of tailgate. We can
just
You already
just
got the
hang for a
seats.
while. We just go. Yeah.
What's everybody's feeling that's sitting here about the parking thing? I mean, it's fair. It's fair game.
Yeah.
Sorry. Look, they did it. We're allowed to talk about it, Matt. I know you.
I bought a bunch of scratch-offs at Kroger the other
Right.
day, hoping.
I have go ahead, I'm
20
sorry.
bucks a game for that purple lot.
It's
Oh,
like-
I ended up getting it because I need to be able to park. So.
I have mixed feelings because you're right. It's fair game. I'm mixed feelings because I'm ticked that I can't afford it. I'm also frustrated that the first lot we didn't get. There was no like, hey, this is happening. It was like, so I'm at work. Phil can't even have his phone at work. So people like him or people that work third shift, they got no chance at
Right.
stuff like that if we
Understand.
don't get a way to plan like the heads up. So, and we didn't pay $340 a person for our season tickets. So paying that for a parking spot to me is just unattainable. I can't do it.
I understand.
So
And I think there's two sides. For me, there's two. I'm trying to be
Diplomatic.
as objective as I
Sure.
possibly can. Because if I was really against it, I'd just say that I am.
sure.
There's the way they announced it. I'm uncomfortable with during the day because people missed out on it, and I think that they could have warned us a little bit more about the price.
Yes.
I think that would have been fair.
Sure.
I don't think that I'm not really happy with that. At the same time, the price itself versus other sporting events that I've been to, it's reasonable. You know,
We're
it is.
Spoiled.
You
We're
know what I'm
spoiled
saying?
by
It's
soccer.
still pretty high
Yeah.
It is well compared to.
compared to. I mean, I went up to the crew games and for an MLS team, they were 15 for parking.
It's about the same. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I mean, it's we could look at it from an MLS, whatever. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. You
Yeah.
know, what I'm saying is that.
And it's a huge jump, also.
Yeah, it's a surprise.
It is. It's a
but
big-
at the same time, I try to look at the other way. It's like I knew it wasn't going to be zero.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know, and at the same time, when you look at events, I'm not, whether it's an MLS, USL, whatever it is, it's a zone of parking at a stadium in a city. You know, so just because it's Louisville, they still have to deal with the same financial challenges that any other team has
Sure.
to deal with in any other sport, regardless of like when we went to Chicago. We was talking about Toast before. I went to go see the Giants and Bears play. We went into a lot. We were half a mile away from the stadium. We paid $50 to get into it,
Yikes. Oof.
but we paid it. I mean,
Yeah.
And I used to go to Giants games all the time, and I'm going back 30 years ago. It cost $25 for
Yeah.
So that's not a fair example. The greater point is that I'm trying to understand both sides of it,
Yeah.
and I just don't like the way they
Still,
rolled it
I
out.
mean,
Still
The
don't like the way
shock.
they rolled it out.
We're
And the
not New
sticker
York.
shock.
We're not Chicago.
Agreed,
Those are
agreed. I
those
agree.
are two massively gouging on prices.
Agreed.
cities.
So I don't know about that.
Yeah. I would say, no matter what, to play a bit of devil's advocate, no matter how they released it, a lot of people were going to miss out.
Yeah.
True.
You're
So
right about that.
I don't think in
Yeah.
this particular instance that was as bad because they knew most people are going to miss out.
So I'm hoping in the future they take a little bit of a different tact when they do that, because don't open the door to people saying you're trying to snag people.
Sure.
Just don't open that door,
Sure.
because eventually people start believing it.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Even if it's unintended.
right.
Yeah.
Anything else about the show that I'm missing that you want to talk about?
I don't think so.
I don't wanna,
I'm still finding my podcast legs, and it's definitely a work in progress. I kind of started it when I started it, so I had a couple months to really feel it out and see what direction I wanted to go. So people so far have been very gracious and very receptive to the podcast. So thank you for the support so far. I'm just
platform, anything? How can we reach you? How can we,
anywhere. So you're on Apple, I'm on Google, I'm on iHeartRadio, I'm on Stitcher, I'm on Spotify, I'm on anything and everything. People
Awesome.
have had trouble finding me on Pocket Cast. That's the one thing that people have said they can't find me on.
Okay.
Other than that, I'm anywhere else.
Cool. Also, we let anybody that comes on the first time. I mean, just if there's any stream of consciousness, anything that you want to mention, anything you want to talk about. I know I usually do that. People go,
Put me on the spot, yeah.
but the whole point is that I want to make sure that anybody that comes on has the opportunity to share what they want to share.
It's
you know
like
what
they
I'm
don't
saying?
watch every minute of our multi-hour show and know this is coming.
Yeah, right. But I don't want anybody to walk away that ever comes on that doesn't get a chance to share something that they want to share. You know what I'm saying? So if there's anything that we've missed or anything you want to say.
No, I just wanted to share about Harbor House. So support
Yes.
Harbor House. It's
Thank
a
you
very
so
good
much for that.
organization. Yeah.
You know, we're gonna, like I said, the 22nd, please. And like I said, you're more than welcome.
Thank you. I will. I'll
Please
do
help
that.
us host it.
Sure.
We'd love to have you on for a little bit. And wish you the best of luck with it. If there's
Thank
anything we can do to
you.
help out, we'll do
I
it.
appreciate it, guys. Thank you
Yep.
so
You know,
much.
thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
you
Really
all.
enjoy the show.
Robin
Thank
Pryor,
you.
ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, Robin, for being on. It's going to be great. I think and you talk about the initiative that Robin took. Thanks, Phil, by the way. The initiative of just reading an article and like that Ken wrote and being able to do so. It takes a lot of guts, I think. What do you think? Do you think anything? You want to share some thoughts?
I know that I know that when we put our setup together, man, we were like
Yeah.
Yeah.
So threw some money
I
out
don't
there.
want to talk
It's-
about how much these mics cost.
Yeah, or the
Man.
laptop. I bought the laptop, the camera. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like it is what it is. But the thing is that if you want to do something, do it. You don't have to spend it. We could have done this on a little bit cheap, and we did at first. I mean,
stream on the phone.
yeah, exactly. I mean, but the whole thing is that Robin had the initiative to do that, and it's awesome. And thank you so much for doing that.
Now, we did our phone link up real cheap, but it also looks like this.
Yeah, but it worked. There was music.
It worked really well, actually. I don't know why, but it does.
But so why wait, Liza? You want to come up? Liza Weeter has taken over the Angel Share portion of, which is a very important thing because the community outreach, if you're part of supporter groups, is part and parcel to the growth of the culture, supporting the team, and helping out with all. Can you hear us? It's
It's really
How are
good.
you?
I'm good.
Okay.
Long day, long week. At
So,
work.
first of all, you were officially yesterday. We officially voted you in.
Yes,
as,
I didn't realize it was going to happen last night, but hey, I got to witness it.
So
that
I
was
guess
fun.
it's the
Yes.
Angel. What did they call it? Is there an official name? You know what I'm saying? Did they just say the person that runs charity? Right? You know.
I think they're calling it Angel Share.
Angel Share is a committee of the Coopers, and you are the committee chair
There
in
you go.
all fancy board parlance, but whatever you
I
want to
was
call
not
yourself.
informed of all the
Call yourself
details.
whatever. I don't.
So congratulations and thank you. This is not an easy gig.
No, it's not. I know that Michelle is trying to make it a little easier this year by in terms of like finding someone to head up each different month, and then I
Right.
just kind of help and oversee. So I was like, hey, that doesn't seem so
You
bad.
might want to sit a little closer to the mic. I'm sorry.
I can do that. It's just really
because the
high.
headphones. Sometimes the headphones are a little hot, but it doesn't come through. It just depends. So
Got it.
okay. So please, same thing. Tell us a little bit about yourself before you became a Lou City supporter.
I mean, I was also born and raised in Louisville, so
Okay.
I haven't left
Outstanding.
either. So we're kindred spirits there. We don't leave apparently.
A lot of people love it. I mean, and anybody that we've had on here that has moved here, like myself, absolutely love it out here.
There's something. Even all my family that have moved away, they're either all moved back now or as close as they could because. One, my cousin, her husband, just retired from the Air Force, but the closest they could get back was Dayton. So they're still in Dayton right now. But I think eventually they want to make it back to Louisville at some point when the kids are older. But yeah, so everyone just comes back, or they come here and never leave.
Went to school here, college, university. I mean,
I went to DuPont Manual for high school. I went across the street from that to U of L.
There you
I got my bachelor's in art, studio art, because that's very useful in the workforce. Let me tell you.
I started out as a music performance major.
Well, my husband
Yeah, you need a
is
degree to go
music
play in a
education.
friggin' bar. You know? And Josh.
And
go ahead.
he's in music education. He got his music education degree, and he is now a marine surveyor.
Yeah.
So obviously, college degrees mean a lot.
Yeah, well.
Joe is just a hell of a cover charge, just that way.
Yeah, you're right. And how long you been married?
We got married in 2016, but we've been dating since 2005.
Wow.
Okay.
So he proposed on our 10-year anniversary, and then we got married a year later. Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, you're both great, and I love Josh. He was actually going to be on here. We just got screwed up with the one day he was going to be on. We had to switch dates, and I just never had him back on. So sorry, Josh. We'll have you on.
I'm sure he'll love it.
Yeah, he will. He'll enjoy it, and he knows he plays bass, and we can use a bass player with the groove machine. We'll talk about that later.
I told him he's allowed. He just has to.
There you go.
Do it all the time.
Right.
I would like to sit next to him occasionally.
Absolutely. So first, before we go on to that, supporter groups that you belong to, and where you sat before this, because I know you. I really want you to talk about that because it's pretty cool.
So we joined the Coopers, I want to say like the first or second year, but we never sat in the same section. We sat like directly to the left in the front row because my little 5'2" frame can't see over people standing. So I was like, well, if I can't be in the front row, I can't enjoy it as much. Yeah, because
really?
we started saving them seats. They started sitting. Well, first I think they started taking our seats. So then we just started saving them seats so we didn't lose ours as well.
So you guys were officially the Cornbread Ultras?
Yes, that was our friend Jared, who is hilarious, but I'm not entirely sure how that came about.
I don't either.
And somehow it ended up with coonskin cap.
Yes.
And and it never left.
And booze. Anytime I saw them, there was like lots of bourbon. So
yeah.
And it will forever be immortalized. I'm not going to say how yet, but there's something upcoming.
Oh, I know how.
Okay, you do know about that? Okay.
And,
well, Josh
Josh
had to talk to me about it.
Okay.
And before we get into the Angel Share thing, you were on the road trip to Montreal. I wanted to. Weren't you?
Yeah.
Remember that a couple years ago?
Josh, me, Peter, and Tyler, all four of us just last minute went, let's go to Montreal.
Right.
And
gosh, that's awesome.
It was a very long car trip. It was a lot of fun, and it was worth it. And it was like a mix of some of the players when they saw us there, when they were walking back in at the end of the game, were like, the fuck? And then some of them were like, yeah, I can't believe you came all this way. So it was like this real big mix of some of them were like, they're insane. We need to avoid them. And
that's awesome. I mean, I remember. I mean, we went to you were in Rochester too.
Yeah,
I remember you were
and Josh and I drove up.
Conference championship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that was a really long drive home. Too.
A long. But okay, so you take on this Angel Share gig, and can you tell everybody a little bit about what you have to do?
I mean, basically, we're choosing at least one charity a month to kind of focus on. We'll do either raffles or auctions. I know last year we did a whole bunch of raffles and auctions, and I'm trying to see if we can find other venues to raise money because it just seemed like it was like saturating the whole, here's a signed soccer ball, and those are really cool and awesome, and it was the first year we did it, so it worked well. But this year I think I want to try to, I mean, like with the mini marathon walk, that's a cool way to try to raise money without like having another signed soccer ball for someone to win.
Right.
And I know that like in, I think it's July and August, it's Power Soccer is the charity supporter there. And I know Lisa, who's heading that one up, Lisa Hines, she's talked to a couple of the people with Power Soccer about possibly doing a trivia night. And I think that would be really cool, kind of have a cover charge, and logistics haven't been worked out yet, but I think that would be a pretty awesome way to kind of have a really fun night, earn some money and raise some money for the charity, but also not seem to just try to rely solely on auction and raffle tickets. Right.
And there's nothing wrong with doing that as a primary way of making money, as a subsidiary way of doing it. If it supports other activities. Like we were talking about at the meeting yesterday about setting up a table or whatever and doing it as part of other things. That's a good thing, but it's the whole idea of coming up like Robin just did. She had an idea, she was motivated she heard from somebody, motivated, and did something. Yeah. And I think it's sort of the kind of hope, what we're kind of hope that we push too, right, Robin? Robin, right? You were saying that what it was the article, right? Well, I'm losing my mind. Yeah. It was the article. Is there something maybe that we can? I was trying to think about doing an article or something on social media that maybe pushes this. I mean, is there a way to do that? Maybe.
I mean, I'm sure there is.
You know, as opposed to just sharing a link. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm always saying this more. I'm trying to say more. This maybe somebody out there is motivated to do that. You think maybe that
I definitely think what could help a lot is sharing a link can do so much, and only I can do so much because I mean I'm not friends with like everybody, so it's a lot. It's anyone who's involved in like especially with the mini marathon, getting people out and active is like we need to plug it not just with the Coopers, but maybe some of the other supporter houses like supporter sections could. Try to like either join up with us and walk too. I'm not sure who all's been signed up and from what supporter groups they are.
Well, there's a little bit of everybody. I mean, there is, and I know there's a bunch of people that have said they're going to do it, who are waiting, but they've messaged me personally, so I know they're going to. We're at 20. I want to say 28 that are officially signed up. I'm thinking over the next couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks, once a couple months up, it'll push some more people.
I hope so.
And I'm hoping, I was hoping for a big number, but the whole idea is to try to raise money in a concerted effort. I was hoping to make this an example of how to do it. I mean, you're talking about Lisa. Lisa's really taken the reins.
Oh, she seems really excited about this power soccer team up, so I'm really excited for what she can come up with.
So the whole idea is not that you run everything. You're the person that's sort of going to help coordinate it, but the whole idea is to get people that have an idea come to you and say, this is what I want to do, right? I mean, is this kind of how you want to set it up?
Yeah, kind of. So if they know of a charity they want to try to raise money for, I can kind of be the point person between them and the Coopers, and I'm in the front office. I know that Michelle's going to definitely back me up a lot, and she said that Howie's a good contact, and so she'll help me get in touch with him, and so hopefully moving forward, I'll be able to, this first year is going to be interesting. If I really like it, I'd like to keep it unless someone else really, really wants it, in which case I won't like. But I really enjoyed last year, and I didn't even really do as much as like everyone says I did a whole lot, but I'm just like I did the item donation and I had a lot of fun with it. But
that's the whole idea, is that in the position that you're in as a coordinator, you're coordinating, you're not dictating, and that's sort of the whole idea is that we keep hearing about, and this is why we keep doing these shows. Is if you have an idea, run with it, and find the point person like yourself for the Angel Share deal.
So I just decided when Michelle wanted to kind of step down a little bit, I was like, I'll do it. I really enjoyed what I did last year, so I'd like to take a bigger role this next year because it looked like a lot of fun, if not hard work, but it's still a lot of fun.
Right. It is, and it is hard work, and anybody that takes these kinds of roles on, it's really, really appreciated. And I would also say that you should kind of reach out and say thank you to people. Absolutely. Because there's a lot. Do you agree with that? I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are doing stuff. Kind of don't have to do it.
There's a lot of people in the background that we don't realize.
Oh, there's a lot, yeah.
So, stadium. I know you've been to this.
I've been twice.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Scary, right? Oh, God. The first time, it was like they were still digging the trenches to put the drawing. Like the grass wasn't even down yet. And you're just kind of walking around like, this is a construction zone. There's like no walls. And then the second time, like the grass was down, and I just remember going, I can't stand on it, can I? And they're like, no. I'm like, can I touch it at least?
Right.
Like what's the limit? They're like, you can't stand on it. I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna touch it. And so I just kind of got down and I put my hands on it because I was like, that's not standing. You can't kick me out now.
And you having lived in this area as long, driving into town, if you're heading west into town from 71, and you no longer have to see derelict cars.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And those two stupid friggin' tanks.
those oil tanks.
Right? I mean, it's not even.
It's changing. Like if you're on 71 or 64 going into Louisville, it's changing entirely what you see. And I think it's definitely changing it for the better. I know there's like people hate it, people love it, but I'm just kind of like, at this point, anything's better than abandoned warehouses and an auto junkyard.
I want to call LMPD and see how many crashes there's been right there.
I don't think we want to know.
And I get that. Look, I get people don't like soccer. All right, that's fine. People like what they like.
They're wrong.
Yeah, I know. I mean, they're not right in any terms.
But here's one of my best friends out here who plays bass in a band that I play in, and he's not a soccer fan. I've been trying to get him to come to games, and he's a dork. But I'm like, he's like, I don't care if it helps the community. Cool.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like a refreshing attitude to have, as opposed to some of these clowns. I hate soccer. I don't care. I'm not going to support it. okay, don't support your community.
Well, I think there's like a stigma on soccer where it's like, oh, it's what kids play. Because I mean, I grew up playing from the age of like 5 up until high school.
Okay, did you play in high school? Or?
I played like 1 year in high school, but like I think shin splints and stuff just got in the way, and then I don't know, I quit.
Yeah.
I mean, kids also play basketball.
I know,
and
but yeah.
football and baseball. Pretty much anything that's not NASCAR, kids play that.
It's just for some reason with soccer, once you get past high school, like it doesn't matter anymore, and people are like, it's not a sport. Yeah, it is.
And you talk about the
I was one of those people to get on the field with me.
Well, and then we had Sanchez talked about this when he was on here. The cross-pollination of kids playing sports. You know, Mahomes just won the Super Bowl with Kansas City. And he talks about how playing baseball helped him play football. And it's not about, it's trying to balance a kid's growth as they grow up and let them do things, but not just bury them into one thing, and that's all you can do, and you can't do anything else. When I taught music, it was the same thing.
Oh, you get tired of it.
We had parents that would sit there and go, look, I want my kid to go to college to play music. I went to college to play music and teach. And I ran track and I played football. Okay, it's no big deal.
You gotta balance a kid's life out,
and you gotta let a kid be a kid.
Yeah, whatever. If there's something they have fun doing, like let them do it.
Right. So NWSL.
I'm so excited.
I know. I'm asking because I don't know anybody. I've been following the structure of the league more than I've been following the players. I mean, I follow players through the women's team, but I'd be lying if I'd say I was like a supporter of a team. Or do you do that at all? I mean,
I never really, honestly, when it came to any, like, I always loved soccer, but I never got in, like, there was never anything in Louisville to watch. So I never really branched out and looked into anything because I was like, well, I mean, I've never been a very big sports person, like, watching them, like, on TV and stuff. And since there wasn't, like, any sort of soccer team in Louisville to go to, I just didn't bother branching out. So when the second I heard that we were getting a team, I was like, sign me up. Season ticket, founding member, all of it. I was so excited. So, and it's been a lot of fun. And I didn't like, I guess to me, my favorite part of like being a supporter is going to the games and watching. So while I kind of peek in and pay attention, like, on what's going on in the world in terms of like the different leagues and the women's leagues, and I definitely watch the Olympics and the World Cup kind of stuff, but I haven't been paying much attention to the NWSL, like outside of like we're getting a team, and once we get a team, then I'm gonna be all gung-ho because I'm like, that's my team. I don't want to like start supporting some team just to get one next year, and then sad.
And I was a little nervous until James came on last show. Once again, you can go back and look on Twitch TV, also on YouTube. All of our previous shows are there. He was on here 2 weeks ago, and I had some concerns that I'd asked Mario Sanchez about financing. He seemed to assuage all of that. He seemed to be very, if you guys remember, he seemed to be very positive about the opportunities and the growth of this thing. I'm.
It's very reassuring.
Yeah, it was for me because I'm still sitting here seeing 9 teams, 10 teams trying to cover the mass of this entire land, of the country, and my head goes back to NASL. Of the last, because the whole thing blew up. Part of it was travel, so that kind of helped a lot.
They are starting to add teams kind of left and right, though.
Yeah, it seems like they're trying to build up a lot. So I'm just kind of like trying to not think about what could happen.
Dropping 4 teams a year is a bad idea. They're going to have to do this slow. They're just going to have to. There's regardless of people trying to jump on the popularity of it. You could jump on the popularity of something that's a shooting star. Every sport waxes and wanes. Every sport has their popular moments, and then there's it drops. NFL's on an incline right now. NBA domestically is on a decline. It'll switch.
Yeah.
It's just you have to have the foundation. My concern's a foundation. Asking you all in general, just a general question about this. It's going to be a little nuts, but the facility itself. Okay. Are you okay if they ever? This is one of the other things I wanted to bring up about them having other sports play on this field. How do you feel about that? Suppose, hypothetical, suppose they put an XFL team in here. Right? I mean, that's okay. That's the whole idea. But now,
if it does not tear up the pitch for soccer games,
put
as much in there as you want to, because it'll probably be entertaining and it'll make the owners money.
And
if I own a business and I can do something to make as much friggin' money as I possibly can, why shouldn't I be able to make as much money as I friggin' can? I mean, I get being a soccer supporter. And I don't want to see them tear the friggin'. Look, this is for our teams. It's for the NWSL team. It's for the USL teams. This is what it's for. But I'm totally okay if they put an XFL team in here because I freaking love football.
We need to have the grounds crew on the show.
Yeah,
That's a
ask
good
ask,
idea.
ask the grounds crew their
That's
opinion.
a really good idea. No, that really is a good idea. But I'm just wondering, what do you think? I mean,
I'm fine with it. I guess it's one of those things where it's a soccer specific stadium, so I think the soccer field should be like priority.
sure, absolutely, of course.
But I mean, if it's not gonna conflict with the games between a men's team and a women's team and all of that,
Right. I mean,
I'd say go for it.
hypothetically speaking, if we all, let's say, we all owned a store and we sold, I don't know, freaking candles, all right? And then you turn around and, well, if you sell booze over here, if the people that buy the candles get mad, and I can get over it. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's how I look at it. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, you got a candle store, and you can make more money selling booze. Name it the Tipsy Wick and go with it.
Nice.
There
Oh
you
wow!
go.
Nice.
First priority should be a guar show.
Yes, that should always be the first priority.
Do a guar show at the new stadium.
Did we cover
I
schedule
mean,
as far as?
if Slayer's busy,
Right.
Well,
Iron Maiden.
aren't they done?
Yeah.
Aren't they bagging it?
they're on. I think this is a retirement tour.
Okay.
I don't know if it's real retirement or a Terry Funk retirement or what.
And Dockin,
I just assume all retirement tours are like 1 out of 10.
they're lies. They're all lies.
Like they'll be back in 2 years when they run out of money.
Yeah.
Arthritis in their fingers.
And Dockin, I don't know.
They
if
get bored not being able to be in front of a stage.
the one dude from Dockin, he apparently had a spine surgery. His hands are no longer useful, so he can't. The front man for the band, and he can't hold a
terrible.
microphone. That's
Oh,
kind of
no.
a problem.
Get
mean,
him
that's
one of
what-
those head rigs.
yeah.
Get him a head
Like,
rig.
you
Might as well.
Oh my God.
I guess I don't know. I mean, how do you? I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make fun of it.
I believe that's
I
called the
should have done
Bernie.
that. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That just.
We
I'm
have
sorry.
sidetracked so far.
But please.
What happened to this?
Once again, if you could, real quick, over what do we have that's pretty much guaranteed as far as coming up with Angel Share? Who's
Over-
sponsoring what months?
Okay, so April, Joe, you're doing that with Harbor House. May is going to be Dwayne Villanova, and it's Quality Camp Kentuckiana. I know it's kind of a camp for kids with cancer, and he wanted to do that one. Oh, I'm gonna have to pull I have it all on an
Well, take your time.
all on a note because I cannot remember any of this on my own.
But did you ever
you
listen to Dockin? I listened to Dockin. It was good for
All right,
me.
so and June is gonna be Michelle's doing the Louisville Youth Group for
Right.
Pride Month and everything.
Okay.
July and August, Lisa Hines for Power Soccer. September, Dawn wants to do Active Heroes,
Nice.
and in October, Brianna was gonna do a breast cancer charity.
Okay.
I don't know if anything's been decided. That's just what I have been informed, and
Right.
that's so far away. I haven't even thought about October yet.
And well, to everybody that's choosing to do that stuff, thank you so much. I mean, having worked a little bit with the folks at Harbor House, it's work. You got to take some extra time. But once again, the whole idea is one of the huge parts of supporter culture is linking to helping the community out, because you could just be fans and not do that, and it has no impact whatsoever on anything. Soccer's different than any other sport that I've ever supported in any other way, because this is what we do. So first of all, thank you so much for taking that on. It's not easy, and I really, honestly, Liza, I really appreciate it.
I'm sure I'll get way over my head in the coming months, but we'll see.
But I'm sure people are gonna
feeling
help you,
pretty
too.
confident right now.
Right. But I'm sure people will help you out too. And
Michelle's always said she's right there,
Right,
and
right.
I'll always message her. I'm like, hey, so how'd you do that last year? Like,
Right. And like I said, anybody else that wants to come on, if there's anything that I've missed that you want to mention, please mention it. If not, if there's
not that I can think of. I know that, outside of our goals, like I know our goal last year, our goal was $10,000, but I think we got up to 13,000. So
Yeah.
Michelle was like, I think 15 is a good goal for
Good.
this year, and I was like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm on board.
yeah, it's going to happen, because I know St. Louis was just
Oh,
They're killing it.
they kill us every
What, they
year.
had
I want to be like.
45,000 last year?
I know. I want to get up to St. Louis numbers here in a little bit. I want to give them a run for their money, because we've
Absolutely.
been slacking compared to them.
And I wanted to let you know also that I have a hobby that I want to get in. I want to do something more cooking, and I'm looking to make jalapeno chocolate cornbread this year.
Oh,
So I may
That
reach
sounds
out to some
tasty.
I've never done. See,
That made my stomach quiver.
you're not sure how you feel about it. It's like jalapeno cornbread, but chocolate. I don't know.
I make a mean frozen dinner.
Okay.
That's about it. So
right.
that, and I'm going to try and make some homemade booze this year.
Homemade booze. I can teach you how to make mead.
We
Oh.
Is that
are
mean?
doomed.
You know, make some mead.
Now I want to make some apple.
I wanna make some mead.
cinnamon.
We can do a 90-day mead.
Really?
If you want, yeah.
You can make apple cinnamon mead.
Okay, we'll have to talk.
You do it in 90 days.
I
it
can't
won't
help
be
you
as-
with the meat or anything, but I do like to cook and bake.
Yes.
So, my whole goal tomorrow with Josh is like, we're not going out because, Valentine's Day on a Friday seems ridiculous.
Yeah, it's gonna be kind of.
But I was like, okay, so here's what I want to do because we never really celebrate. If I don't get him to cringe when he walks through that door, I have failed entirely. So I'm going like balls to the wall, 100% decorating the house.
Awesome.
So I told him, I was like, you got to leave the house. Like, you can't work from home Friday.
There you go.
I'm taking a half day, so I have time to do all this.
But thank you. I mean, once again, I really appreciate coming on. And if there's any information or anything like that we need to push out, just let us know.
Yeah, I'll
And we'll take
definitely
care of it. We'll have you on again.
reach out.
We'll do this again and make sure that we get, we keep regular updates on everything like that.
All right, well, thank you for having me.
Liza, thank you so much.
Thank
Liza
you.
Weeter.
I have a couple of announcements.
Do it.
First, Trip and Fame, thanks for the follow. Number 2 is a very special announcement. Lincoln Davis,
Oh, jeez.
it's 8:30.
Go to bed.
It's time to prepare for the bed.
See, this is where we could link in some Nah, it does not even do that.
No.
Trying to be.
Here it
Hi,
comes.
Lincoln. How are you, young man? How are you?
You ready for bed? What?
There's silence right now. Sorry, we're sorry about the silence. Lincoln is
Yes.
what does he
Just
want?
get ready for bed. Turn the lights out. Do your thing.
No, Lincoln, you can't have a shot.
He's playing, and you got to put the switch down.
Yeah.
So anything?
That'd be really cool, though. I mean, we make some mead, and I know we've been doing bourbon, just plunk down a jug with no markings on it. Everyone.
That'd be awesome.
Oh, God.
I really want
that.
to do that this year. I want to have some alcohol that I can create. Hey, Paul, come on up, man.
Yep.
And
by the way, y'all can help yourselves.
help
if you
yourself
want
some
something to
booze.
drink.
That's what
I
it's
just-
there for. If you want to have a drink, have a drink.
Yes. I'll take that.
Awesome,
You are
Paul.
awesome.
Thank you,
Thank
brother.
you.
This, courtesy of Mr. Eric Belmonte.
Thank you.
I reached out on social media.
know.
This one's the one with the cord. I think is the left.
I reached out on social
Maybe it doesn't
media
matter.
a couple weeks ago. I can't even remember when I did it.
Yeah.
We have been having. I think that most of the Wi-Fi troubles that we were having have gone away.
Yes.
I've been kind of monitoring it the whole time we've been here. This is a 100-foot Ethernet cable.
Nice.
That Eric Belmonte just ordered. I don't know where he ordered
Thanks,
it from, but he had Paul deliver it. Thanks. And I'm going to put this into practice in our next show, and we're going to see if we have more success. This will greatly help. I'm sure. Anytime you're hardwired, it's great. So,
Yeah.
thank you very much, Eric. We love you.
Thanks, Eric. Paul Prestigiacomo. Did I say that right?
Prestigiacomo.
Prestigiacomo. I'm sorry.
Told
bud.
you.
You're Italian. You should.
I know, but I'm half Italian, half Spanish. We just,
Ooh.
I'm only 7% Italian, apparently.
Okay. Well, welcome, man. I'm glad you
Good-
came here.
good to be here.
And awesome news today. I mean, finally, I saw it about 4:00-ish that they finally put Sheep's Pen on the website, man.
Yeah. I thought it was yesterday.
Was it
when
yesterday, was it?
It was
Okay.
yesterday when they did that.
Okay.
I thought you were about to talk about the Wool Cup.
Well, we're going to. We're going
Yeah.
to talk about a lot of that. And first of all, welcome. And like everybody else, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself before this Lou City thing started kicking off.
Well, I'm also from Louisville, just like everyone else. Went to U of L for a couple years. Went to Ballard High School. I know I got the order mixed up there. But, just working. I've been married for 10 years, almost
bless.
11. We have 2 kids. Of course, they came after the club was. Well, no, I think Dominic was born right before the club. But,
Okay.
But right in between that time is when we had our kids and things like that. So,
Have you been coming to games since the very beginning?
yeah,
or-
I was account holder like number 39.
No kidding.
Wow.
So you were at that St. Louis game, man.
Yeah, the very first game. That was on my birthday.
Was it
It
really?
was at my brother's birthday, but my brother's birthday is 2 days after mine. So
Awesome.
we were celebrating it together.
Cool. And I just remember how freaking cold it was. I remember,
It was.
damn. I didn't
Yeah.
expect that, but it was, it was awesome.
Yeah, we got my mom and dad to come out. They, they're not soccer fans. They're
Right.
Kentucky football fans of all things. But no, they came out in the cold and they supported it. And, they've been supportive of the club since they came out. They were like, oh, I'm just really glad Louisville's finally on top of something. We got something before Cincinnati or Nashville or anything like that. So so they've always been pretty supportive of the club.
Did you play soccer at all, or did
I
you?
did. Well, I was kind of late getting into it.
Okay.
I was basically like any other millennial our age, 30s, 40s. We got into it during the '94 World Cup.
Right.
So that was kind of our first exposure to it. And then, on to the '98 World Cup, MLS, and things like that. FIFA, the video game. That's kind of where we really got into it. And then, it came on TV. I started out with Serie A and La Liga and the Premier League and things like that. I played kind of like pickup stuff with just people I worked with. I worked with some Senegalese guys, some Hispanic guys, and they got me into it. And I played for a couple years before I got married. And then my free time went away.
So people that start playing new, when like you're talking about, you start playing with folks that were from overseas. It's amazing the passion that they have for the game when you first meet them, right?
They made me look terrible.
Crazy.
They made me look terrible. I had to play defense the whole time.
Right, and it's like being a supporter now of a team. Like, I grew up with it. My mom and dad both they followed it when they were from wherever, from birth. And soccer supporter culture overseas, then it was insane already. They'd already been around, and you're translating into being like college. I don't know what other sports do you follow?
Well, I grew up on college football. I went to the UK games, the U of L games, and NFL and things like that. Baseball, I was a big baseball guy. I still am a big baseball guy. But that's kind of what we went into. It was kind of like college football. It's kind of that atmosphere. You got the drums and everything like that. The crowd's really into it. Tons of drinking in the stands and things like that. So that's the closest it came. But once I found out there was like flares and smoke and just chanting the whole game, I was like, this is on a different level. Yes. And
that's awesome. Now, man, Sheep's Pen. I mean, hopefully you could just tell us a bunch about, or just welcome. Glad that you all, Eric. I friggin' love Eric Belmonte, and I'm glad that I do. He's a great guy.
No, he is.
A lot of the guys from the Sheep's Pen are in the chat right now.
Okay, and I've gotten to know some of the guys over there. Like Ben and all those other cats. I mean, they're good dudes. And I'm glad that you're a part of this. Like, you've got this thing set up. Now, what can you tell us? Anything? Whatever you want to tell us about it. Go, man.
So, the Black Sheep has been around for a few years. I think pretty much since that first season. I think it kind of splintered off from the other supporters groups that were here. I think they wanted to go in a different direction, kind of an anti-supporters group, if that makes sense.
Sure, absolutely.
I think they had some disagreements with the way things went. I wasn't involved in any of the supporters group stuff. I thought it looked pretty silly. I never joined any fraternities or things like that.
Neither did I.
I didn't like.
I hated fraternities when I was in college.
I didn't hate them. It's just like I didn't want to have. I don't like rules.
Yeah, me too.
Basically what it is.
I'm the same way.
So rules in your social life, I didn't really vibe with that.
Crawl around on the ground and then you could be my friend. Kiss my ass.
Yeah, it was kind of like that. It seemed like there was a political structure and things like that. I wasn't really into that. And probably a couple years ago, they reached out to me and they were like, "Hey, come out to a tailgate." And I've known these guys since AO days. That's where I met them, like 2013. I went up on the bus trip to Columbus. So I've known these guys for a little bit, but it's only in the last couple years that I've got to know them. They had their reputation.
Whatever.
But that's fine. Yeah, they had, but it didn't really. I don't think the reputation that they have actually fits what they really are about. They're really nice guys. They just don't necessarily agree with everything that goes on.
Here's the thing about reputations: they suck.
Yeah, they do.
Because
they're characters.
The second you have a reputation, people who are into doing that, regardless, I don't care what direction, where you're from, whatever, you tend not to try and find out about anything.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's bullshit.
Yeah, and they separate.
It's wrong.
It is.
You have to have, what's the word? Courage. I don't want to say courage, but you have to have the gumption at least to say, I don't know anything about that dude or that group. At least let me find out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Just don't give a shit about what people say or, you know what I mean? Exactly. Go find out for yourself. And once I did, I found out they are, they're fun.
Right.
They welcome everybody.
I'm a charter member.
Yeah. You all know them. I mean, they do fun things together. They're friends outside of, going to the games and things like that. Like we go to lunch and things like that. We've been, we did a weight loss contest a couple years ago, which helped me out quite a bit. They're basically my main circle of friends now.
Sure.
And we're very excited to have our own little section away from, they've always been on the other end from the Cougars because they don't seem to get along the most.
I love those guys.
Yeah, they're fine. They're fine. It's just have to have that separation.
Right. And now here's the thing about any of that. I'm going to say this, and I didn't come in. I don't want to talk about any of that relative to what it was.
Yes.
There's what it was, and then there's what it is.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at what it is. And the whole thing about what it is it doesn't have to have any connection whatsoever to anybody. You know, any group, I don't care what group it is, I don't care who they are, you build your own reputation based on your actions. But the actions of one can impact everybody.
Sure.
Yeah.
At the same time, you can let the actions of one impact your thoughts about everybody else as well. It works both ways. Sure.
I mean, imagine what would happen if one of those guys like ran out onto the field during a gold celebration or something.
I can't believe it. That would
I know
never happen.
That happens?
Ridiculous. No,
Never.
never.
No, never
I
happened.
wouldn't expect any of those guys to do that. You know?
But the point is that, look, my whole idea, like I said, when we started doing the show, and I have no agenda. I just wanted to have you on.
No, sure.
But the truth is that you could either focus on what's going on forward or just spend time. I could rehash shit that happened in my life 40 years ago if you want to. And sadly, I've been alive 40 years to remember it, or more. I'm being 42 years old now.
What kind of bong did you have?
Are you kidding?
I actually am 42. I know you're lying.
I never touched it in my life. I never. But the point is that you know, you're saying yourself you've built relationships with these guys that seem to be like really, really tight.
Yeah.
And if they're, you know, if a person's not a cool person, why would you want to hang with them? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know, so I mean, like, what are some of the things that you all have been involved in, or what? I know there's a couple charity things that they've been doing. I don't know, you know, you're mentioning the World Cup.
Yeah, the World Cup is like the one thing that we do for charity. So, I mean, Derek was involved with it. He was on the Fat Guy team with me last year. I think he said he was a free agent.
You were on the Fat Guy team. I would have been on the team that things orbit. That's the team I would have been on. I would have on the team like if you throw a ball at me, it would orbit around me.
I think Bruce picked me up for American Outlaws.
Okay.
You got a visitor behind you.
What does it want?
What do you want, young man?
it?
Come here, Link. What do you want? Sorry to interrupt the show. Link has a moment. What's going on, Link?
What?
We're waiting for Link to finish his thoughts.
Yeah. Here.
Go ahead,
I'm
do
gonna
your
take
thing.
a break.
Hey, Link.
All right.
Hey, Link.
I get it. Send him up. You're
Link
off.
got a red card. You're red carded. You got to go. You're off the pitch.
That's awesome. I need one of those for work, I swear.
But-
Take it to work.
So anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine. So the one thing that we do for charity is the World Cup. That will be April the 5th. We're actually going to add a team this year. It's the same lineup.
I saw that today.
Yeah.
Adam's team, ATG, I think.
Yeah, yeah. They there was 8 groups or the 8 teams. So I think Falls City got one of the spots, and we thought ATG was going to get left out, but we were able to work out the form. We have an extra hour this year, so we were able to work it out because it'd be 2 extra games. So everybody is going to be in the knockout stage.
Right.
But there's a playing game and things like that. So.
Okay.
But it's a new format just to include that group. I can't remember how much he said it was going to be. I think we're still waiting on King Louis to give us the cost on that. But it'll be April the 5th, basically the same time. It'll be the day after the Indy away game, which we'll also be going to.
Nice.
Awesome.
I'm sure everybody will be going to that. That's the closest away team now,
Right,
now that Cincy and Nashville are gone.
Are you? I mean, I don't even know. Are they planning anything as far as trips or anything like that, or they just don't care? I mean, I'm asking. I have no idea.
Yeah, we're definitely going to Indy. We'll probably do, if we U.S. Open Cup, probably. We'll probably, well, I don't know. They'll probably rig it to where we get a home game now that we got a stadium.
That's true.
But if we go away to Nashville or Cincinnati or something like that, or Chicago, we'll definitely be in for that. We are doing the foot golf too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so everybody.
Derek,
I'm looking
So
forward to
that's not a charity thing. That is actually basically trying to raise money for us, so we can do.
Sure.
So we can put on like different tailgates and things like that, and parking passes and stuff like that, and pay for it. But it was a great time. We did that last October. We even had Lance out. Derek was out there. I'm not sure if any of you all. I can't remember.
I was driving back from Memphis. I wanted to go.
Yeah, I was.
It sounded like it was a lot of fun.
It was.
Because McGarvey was at it. I mean, Lance
Yeah,
was on
Lance was-
and I heard he got pretty messed up.
Yeah, we all did. So it was really funny because they gave us like bar snacks and beers and stuff like that, and they had a little tent for us, and we it was great. Well, we finished the case pretty quickly, so they brought us out another one, and then another one, and then after this whole thing was done, we'd probably gone through 4 cases maybe. And so people tried to go into the country clubhouse.
Uh-oh.
And I think they were just like, we don't want these people mixing with the members. So they like threw us. They threw the Lions a steak basically. They just threw us a couple cases, and they were like, just sit outside. You know.
That's cool.
This is a fan
It was
base.
good.
This is
a
a
good
fan
time.
base that once drank Slugger Dry. This place didn't have a prayer.
Yeah. I don't think they knew what was going on. But I got in contact with them. They said, we'd love to have you all back. It was a great time. So we're looking at we're going to do 2 of them. We're going to do a May and we're going to do an October. We're looking at the May 16th. Hopefully that's a Saturday, and we have an away game. So we were going to try and pair it with a watch party at the stadium. You know, they're trying to do all the watch all the away games at the stadium. But I don't, you know, when I think about it, I'm like, that's a good wedding day, May 16th. I think my parents were even married on May 16th. So
Nice.
May is a
so
big
they may
wedding
kick
month.
us to the 17th, but
It is a big wedding month.
we're targeting the 16th. So hopefully, just pencil it in mid-May,
that's
probably
right.
mid-October.
Tell us a little bit about your experience with the foot golf.
He went swimming at football.
Yeah, I did. So one of the holes is it's like a dog leg, but you have to, if you don't kick it up the hill, the ball will roll down.
Yes.
And several of them went in the water. Mine went fast down into the water. So I mean, and it was getting stuck in the middle. I was like, I guess I got to go get it. So I took a little swim. It was a little bit chilly.
Now, I'll get back to a little bit about where you're sitting. You're going to be sitting. I remember when the last time I did this tour, Evan pointed out that you're literally sitting. The supporters from other teams are going to be sitting over your left shoulder.
Yeah. So we got.
So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So we have, you know, if you're looking from the press box, we are the far left corner. So we're on, you know, Scout's house will be behind the goal, and we will be to the left. Well, if you're looking from the field, we'd be to the right of them. So yes, the away section is going to be right above us. So and maybe, you know, we selected that, but maybe the front office was like, well, you know, that's within shouting distance of them, and you know, they could throw stuff at us, and it might be fun, you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But we picked it just because, you know, it's in the corner. You know, it seems like a good place. You know,
how many seats do we know? Like,
they said we could fit about 300 in our section. I think we got like 80 something people in the group. I'm not sure how many of them are actually season ticket holders, but we'll get it as packed as we can in there. You know, we like it because you can almost reach out and grab the corner takers. So
exactly.
We're gonna be doing some research on some of these left backs and right wings who they are, and we're gonna find out about their girlfriends, their moms.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, if they have any arrests in the past. I was hoping to ask Evan if he could have Hack come talk to us and be like, do you know any of these guys from U17? Because you know, maybe they like wet their pants or shit themselves, something like that. Give them something we can really rattle them with.
Sure.
But no, we're super excited. We'll be right there. Hopefully we can have some good, you know, spontaneous songs, chants, that kind of thing. You know, that's what we're looking for.
Tailgate. I saw a couple things. There was a band. I think it was that. I forget who it was.
Yeah. So we're so the first game on April 11th. Technically not the first game, but first league game. We are having not really a tailgate, but like a party at Big Al's Burritoville. It's like a mile down.
Oh god, this is the one with the bands and stuff.
Yes, yeah.
This is great.
So we're gonna have you know who Graham is.
Yes, absolutely.
So his band Straight Lace is gonna play for us.
It's awesome.
On that little stage.
I was listening to their stuff. They posted some stuff yesterday.
They're gonna have a show in March. I think it's like March 14th or something like that. He invited me to. Hopefully I can get to go. But they're gonna play for us. They're very excited about it. It's, you know, it's fitting because it's that oi punk kind of stuff like that.
Perfect.
So it's perfect for our ethos. It's get us going for the game, and we're gonna have DJ Zausch apparently manning his Spotify or whatever afterwards. So
get Zausch some 3D glasses.
We will. Yeah, we're gonna monitor that playlist because he's, you know, he can play some really good stuff, but some of it is suspect.
Right.
So we're gonna make sure we get on top of that.
And is that something that are they going to be trying to do bands before games consistently? Or is that just sort of
this is just for the first time.
Sure.
No, we got a parking pass to make you know, if we want to do tailgates in the future. We got it mainly because we want to have we do something like after the end of the games. It's like 80s dance party. So it's like so Zouch has got these speakers. I think he bought a new Bluetooth speaker and. Basically, we get out there and, you know, everybody's drunk and stuff like that. So we get out there and we dance to 80s music, basically.
Nice.
After the games, and that's kind of how we end the night. Or you know, sometimes we might go somewhere else for an after party, but that's about an hour. Let the parking lot get out. So We're gonna do that. So, but we're gonna try out Beer-Rita-ville or Big Al's, or I think I'm saying it right. I was just there today.
Which one is that? That's
Big Al's
Big
Beer-Rita-ville.
Al's?
It's right off Melwood and Frankfurt. Like it's.
I know exactly what you're talking.
Yeah, it's within walking distance of the stadium. Now, if it it's about a mile or so like that. So it's an easy walk for me, but for some people maybe not. But
Right. But I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what that turns into. I really am. It's exciting because, we've been talking about this since day one. The culture doesn't have to be monolithic. I mean, it could be whatever it wants to be.
Yeah.
And people are going to ask for certain things at certain times based on who they are and what they are. And to not endorse one or the other, I don't care what it is. Like if somebody really wants to get into the screaming, the yelling, whatever in that corner, don't call out people that don't. But people who don't do that, don't call out the people that do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, there has to be a point where people accept others for whatever they are and what they do. If you don't like it, fine. Just go your own way. Go do your own friggin' thing. Leave everybody else alone. And that's kind of, am I wrong? I mean, what am I saying? Is there anything going on there?
There's a lot going on. Apparently, you need to grow a full beard.
It's true. It's true.
I can't.
Like Taylor.
Dude,
look at you.
I need a haircut.
You need a haircut.
I just got my.
He looks like Kurt
I was gonna
Russell.
say,
Doesn't he look like Kurt Russell?
Fade it up a little
I've been saying that. You look like Kurt Russell from the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. You do.
There's a lot
of chin strap. Like whoever that is saying that.
There's a lot of trash talk about DJ Zausch, and I don't think that they think DJ. I don't think they think he's going to be a very quality DJ.
Oh. Awesome.
According to what I'm reading.
Drink until he is.
And Nightbot's out of control. I timed out Nightbot for you guys, so you're welcome.
So, like I said, with everybody else, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Did you have anything?
Timed out Nightbot.
Nightbot was getting he or she was getting really mad that people were spamming emotes, and Nightbot started timing people out. So I timed Nightbot out.
All right.
There you go.
I have the power here.
So, like, for anybody else, if there's
Derek is
anything
apparently D-man.
anything we missed or anything that you want to share or anything like that about anything, I mean, please feel free.
I mean, I just want to say anybody that wants to come out to Big Al's for that first game.
Right.
I'm going to come by there.
Yeah, come by there. It'll
I
be.
will. I plan it once the season gets rolling. I definitely plan to do it.
It'll be a great time. We'll be in the gray lot. We got to pass. After all the games. So come out and hang out with us. We're not going to be like actively recruiting people. That's not really our thing.
Right.
Just come hang out with us. If you want to be in our section, that's cool. If you don't, that's cool
too.
Just come hang out with us, basically. We're going to stay away from kind of the whole political stuff.
Sure.
I know some people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're not going to do any of that. We are focused on the football club and having a good time. That's it.
Right.
No
anything
trolling,
else.
No trolling, no virtue signaling, nothing like
of
that. You know what I mean? It's going to be a good time.
And that's what I'm saying. There has to be something for everybody, and to not promote sections or whatever of people that don't want that is shit. Everybody has to be a part of this in their own way. Thank you for coming on.
You're welcome.
And if there's anything we can do to help push anything that you all are doing, just let us know. We'll do it.
You got it. Just our, right now we just got a few events going on.
I mean, Eric's a douche, but we'll work with that.
Yeah. Yeah, we tolerate him, don't we?
Come play in the football tournament.
Oh yeah, that is
us.
So much fun.
Yeah.
Like
it's
man.
we had Lance McGarvey out there on my team and a couple old friends of mine, and we had so much fun. And it was
that's great, and the Wool Cup's fun too. I mean, where else can you be hungover after a game and then have an ex-MLS player run at you with the ball and just like
now they're gonna have two.
Oh, who do we got?
We were talking about this when James O'Connor was on. Like James,
is James gonna play?
He's it's the front office.
Shit.
Front office.
Oh shit!
So it's like
they're gonna win.
They won last year. Oh god.
Well, just stiff legging.
Oh man.
Paul, thank you.
Good news. The Coopers are gonna pay on time.
The Coopers are I know there's new leadership and stuff like that.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I think it was anyway.
And that's what that's the last thing I wanted to say. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The whole idea is today forward.
Yeah,
and I'm hoping that that's something we can do. Whoever it is, I don't care what group it is. I don't care if you're not part of a group. The whole idea is this forward. If people want to linger, whatever you're a part of, make that choice and be part of the 7 people that do that, as opposed to the thousands that won't. So, hopefully that's what it turns into.
If you want to linger, I won't give you the finger.
Nice. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it.
Words of wisdom.
Right. Cody, you're next. We're going to get Cody up here.
Thanks,
Cody
Paul.
Ruth. Paul, thanks, buddy. Cody Ruth is you're part of the leadership of Scouts' House now.
Let's get him all. Let him get all the
and
way to the microphone.
they have official names too. They don't call them what is like Scouts gave everybody weird names.
Well, yeah, it's Scouts. That's what he does.
Scouts,
but in the Coopers, I would be an at-large, but in Scouts' House, I'm called an ambassador.
Okay.
And I just got reelected for my 3rd year in the position.
All right.
I am also a dues-paying Cooper since 2015. Mm-hmm. I'm one of the few with dual citizenship.
Nice.
I need to re-up Scouts' House this year. I just realized.
Yeah.
And you have a unique situation where you wear lots of scarves.
Yes, I am that guy.
How many? Everybody asks how many.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped counting, but I will say that
I stopped counting 640,000.
It's actually a little over 40 pounds.
Yeah. He's easy to recognize at the games. He looks like the car wash.
My significant other calls me a swamp monster. So, yeah, just absolutely covered.
So tell us a little bit about yourself before you got involved with Lou City.
Oh, born and bred Louisvillian. Lived in Old Louisville pretty much my whole life. Okay. High school, Iroquois, Liberty. College, a little bit at Sullivan. And really, just kind of
just a dude.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you play any sports in school? Did anything like that, or were you like clubs or anything like that?
Soccer, actually. Soccer, yeah. I wasn't particularly good with ball skill, so they put me on defense.
There you go.
Where they found that the little kid's nasty.
There you go.
He strips the ball from people pretty easily, so they just kind of left me there, and then. After I got out of high school, I kind of got away from soccer for a little bit.
Okay.
And right about the time that the 2006 World Cup was going on, I started getting back into it, and I looked at a whole bunch of stuff. And I know there's so many people that razz me for this, but I wound up finding Manchester United.
Okay.
And found out that they had a damn Yankee between the sticks. And I had no idea that an American was playing at that high level because I hadn't been paying attention.
So you talk about Dempsey. You know who? Not Dempsey. What am I saying? Jesus. Just had a heart attack. Howard, yeah. Who ended up? He's the cat that I ended up following when he went to Everton. That's why I became an Everton supporter.
And actually,
because I tried being a Man U supporter, but that just wasn't going to happen.
It was the last year that he played with Manchester United before he got loaned to Everton, and then the year following the loan, he got taken full time.
He had a hell of a career with him. He really did.
He really did. Absolutely did. But I saw that there was a Yankee playing in the Premier League, and didn't look at anything else. Said, "That's my team. That's my dude." Right. And he left the next year. So
Well, it's just and McBride played with them before that, and I started looking a little bit when McBride played with them at Everton, and I just sort of lost it. But when Howard played there, that was such a kind of a cool group of guys at that time. And it was just like, talking about Fellaini and all those, whatever, that whole team, whoever it was, Osmond and Pinar. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm going off on Everton. Why should I? So tell us a little bit about how you got hooked up with the Scouts' House deal.
So, like I said, I got attached to the Coopers pretty early on, but for most people that have ever seen me at a game, I have a little co-pilot.
Yes, you do. How old?
She's actually 8.
Nice.
Looks to be about...
He's 7.
Okay,
Yeah.
Not far off. But when we first started going to games, she was literally still in diapers.
Sure.
So we couldn't actually be in the Coopers.
Right.
So we were a couple sections removed. And then, we come to find that across the way they had a place where we could go where there was common seating and a roof.
Okay.
And I'm sure that a few people have noticed that you have to actually show a ticket to get in.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's a pain in the butt. But honestly, for the father of a small child, all of these are huge, huge pluses.
Absolutely.
And so I went over, I started standing with them, and
wonderful group of people.
You sit there, you talk, and every last one of them I love them to bits.
Yeah.
And
Speaking of bits,
Do it. Did we get any
was
bits?
good. That was good.
Bits.
Adam's sending us lots of bits.
Hey, Adam Welp, thank you,
Thank
brother.
you.
Adam's showing us his bits.
Thank you so much for showing us your bits.
Adam showed us his bits. Thanks,
Nice.
Adam. Anyway, yeah. So anything about? Could you start with the leadership in the Scouts' house right now? The folks that are involved with that. Can you tell us a little bit about how that's set up now? You said it's set up basically like any other supporter group.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. I mean, whatever. Anything you want to share about that?
Well, I mean, president, vice president, treasurer, secretary, all the bits and
usual.
pieces that make it move.
I still think they should
the
call
bottle washer or something.
no. What they should call Scouts is king. They need to call him king. I'm sorry. I mean, I hate to be. I mean, I'm a rotten capitalist, but he being from England, he needs to be royalty because he kind of is royalty.
He is
Just keep it
head
like
cook
that
and
even-
bottle washer, I
That's
believe.
the one, yes.
Yeah. I don't know. But being from England here, I want to start calling the town crier, which is the person
Nice.
responsible for the
communications.
yeah.
And stuff. Nice.
I want to get that name changed to the Ministry of Disinformation.
I like it. Okay.
The ministry.
I haven't floated that one yet. Scouts, if you're watching,
Jeez.
I'm bringing this one up.
You could go a little Orwellian, the Ministry of Truth.
Yeah, right.
That's a little close to home.
But anyway, some of the initiatives as far with anything relative to Scouts' house, please. If I ask specific questions, I'm afraid that I'm going to not let you talk about things that you want to talk about. We'll kind of forget about them. So, if there's anything that you want to specifically share about them now, initiatives, fundraising, anything, please go ahead.
All right. Actually, we've got a few things that we've got moving that we haven't officially announced yet.
Okay.
I'm going to take the initiative and say it. We're going to be putting together darts tournaments.
Yes.
And it sounds like we've got a handful of them coming in the next year. It sounds like 3, maybe quarterly-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And the format is yet to be determined. We're still hammering out the details, but that's something that is forthcoming, and I would advise everyone to look into Scouts' House on social media for details on that. One other thing that got brought up, and I was at the Coopers meeting last night.
Yes, you were.
so
Yes, you were.
It got brought up there as well, but Scouts' House is looking at doing an end of the year banquet
Nice.
and
Nice.
possibly awarding, fan-based awards to all the players, front office, and maybe even fans that
Nice. That's a good idea.
have contributed over the course of the year. And I know that it was something that the Coopers kind of brought up as a spitball. Hey, how about we do this? But we do already have that moving, and we're working on that right now.
That's fantastic. And I know that they also with no longer having to worry about that friggin' roof, which would just amplify so much sound. That there's a possibility of maybe adding a little bit more like drumming stuff. I mean, possibility anyway.
To where the drumming doesn't just ring everyone's ears under there.
Exactly. And that's because this year, exactly. This year, I'm going to do what I did the last few games. Well, about half the season last year, but after I got out of the hospital, is spend the first half of the game with the Coopers. I'm going to spend the second half of the game with Scouts' house, and I'm hoping that maybe we can expand it a little bit. It's never going to be what they do with the Cooper side. I mean, I know that. It's just, I love that. Don't get me wrong. There's standing around 11 people beating the shit out of a drum is a lot of fun. But, doing something that's a little more traditional over there is a lot of fun too. I'm assuming that everybody's sort of amenable to that. I don't think that there's what do you think? I mean, what's the feeling as a supporter that hangs out over there?
Well, actually, if you'll remember, last year I was talking with you about, I was thinking about adding drums over on our side myself, just a snare.
Right, exactly. Something much smaller.
But I talked with a few people, and the consensus kind of seemed that with it having such a low overhead, it would just overwhelm the sound.
Sure.
And having the big bass drum to kind of unify the chants, that's as far as we really wanted to push it, so that we didn't drive people out.
Exactly.
Right.
But I'll say that one of the things that got mentioned is without having that roof to trap things under us, we are actually considering having smoke as well. So
there you go.
We can go ahead and
pyro.
Absolutely light these guys up.
I like this.
That's fun.
Joe, apparently you're having audio problems on your mic.
Am I really? Hello?
Sounds tinny.
Sounds. Hang on, let me tinker with it.
So while he's tinkering, I don't know. Any other? There you go. Something just happened there. I don't know what it was.
I'm just messing with the medium, low, and high.
Is it
equalizer even?
Is it better? Am I better? It did sound a little weird in my headset.
Yeah, give it every time you give it like a 20. It's like a 20-minute.
Okay.
I'm sorry, 20-second delay. 20 minutes.
The lack of the lack of real time makes it a little rough sometimes. Fundraising stuff. I know that you talked to. I mean, he does the jacket thing as well. I mean, isn't that something he does during the winter, where they try and gather jackets for people and stuff?
Yeah. When the weather turns cold, we had been putting up collection bins. Right now, we don't have anything set in stone. We do still have another meeting before the beginning of the year, and I think that's when we're going to work through a lot of that. And once we get things set in stone, we're gonna shout it from the rooftops. And yeah.
And one of the things that was really awesome about this was having you at the meeting yesterday. I know Glenn's doing a great job, by the way, with leading the Coopers right now. Really appreciate everything that he's been doing. Cross-pollinating and getting ideas flowing together. I think that's amazing.
Yeah. Glenn was at our first general meeting of the year, and he was the first one to express a real interest in making sure that we took the time to cooperate. And I took it as an absolute invitation, and that's why I was at the board meeting. Especially since I'm one of the people that are in both, so I really felt that this is a really good time for me to kind of take the time on both sides.
Yeah, and
we're glad to have you there. Anybody, of course, is welcome and encouraged to come to the board meetings, see what we're doing.
I think
give us ideas.
There's no substitute for teamwork. There isn't. It sounds dorky in a way, but to sit here, it's the same thing that we just said to Paul. We can either focus on some of the things that were negatives 5 years before, or we could sit here and try and work shit out and move forward. And when I say that, it's not like there were a lot of negative things to begin with. I'm making it sound like there were problems. There wasn't. I don't think there was a ton of problems at all. I mean, maybe I'm naive, but I think that things worked pretty well already. I don't know. The last year specifically.
Well, real quick before I go on, hearing that the Sheep's Pin is directly underneath the opposing supporters section.
It's pretty amazing.
That makes me so happy.
Yeah,
I've met those guys. I've heard what they've had to say to opposing players. This is going to be amazing.
You okay?
You sound like a robot.
I sound like a robot.
Not here, but on the stream.
Still more arigato.
Okay, so what we'll do, we're stuck with it, I guess, for now.
Does everyone else sound okay?
How does everybody else sound?
Yeah, I mean,
I do sound a little different than you guys.
We've never had audio issues before.
No.
But real quick,
go ahead, man, do it.
I got my stadium tour. I was one of the first handful of groups in, and Scouts House has been using the tagline "Best seats in the house."
Yeah.
This year, I honestly believe it. It is absolutely absurd how close we are to the field. We are the same distance from the goal as we are at Little Lynn.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, if anyone behind the goal wants to have a polite conversation with the opposing goalkeeper, he's going to hear it.
Nice.
It's everybody. Sorry.
Okay. But
all right, I think it's the effects. I'm just going to kill them.
Just kill them. The coming up this year, as far as well, you've been. I want to ask you about the stadium as well. You've been.
Yeah, I was actually in the third tour group. I was there early enough that I got to sit in one of the seats in the locker room.
Ooh,
nice.
I'm a little jealous.
And it's just scary, amazing in there. I honestly, when you go to a sports stadium, when it's empty. Now, the reason I've been lucky enough to be in a lot of sports stadiums when they're empty, because when I used to do this judging thing at the national level, we used to do shows at like Mile High Stadium and stuff like that. So you're walking into these 70,000 seat stadiums with nobody in them, and you just get to take all the ambiance in and just hanging out. This stadium has all of that. Plus, there's just, I hate to be a geek about it, but it's fantastic. Oh, I just changed.
Yeah, I think that may have fixed it also.
Okay, tell me if there's anybody online. My voice just changed a little. Okay. There's something about being in there. It's not just hanging out in a sports stadium that's going to be ours. There's something special about it. I don't know.
I'm going to say that I'm absolutely gobsmacked.
Such a good word.
You take me back 6 years, and you tell me that not only am I going to have a soccer team in my home city that has already hung 2 cups on the shelf, and has a stadium that is literally world class. I mean, we are the jewel of the league.
Yes.
And we have a stadium that, given another few thousand seats, would be absolutely in place in any league in the world.
It's traditional. There's something. It's not NFL-ish. That's the thing. Though, when we went to Chicago the first time, that was a disaster putting the stadium out in the suburbs to begin with. Maybe we'll throw some treble on that, and then on top, there you go. And then on top of that, it feels like a football stadium. I don't know how to say it, and that's not a negative if you like football, but if you go to a soccer stadium and you expect soccer and it feels like a football stadium and then it's half empty,
right? It
just feels weird. I don't know, man. There's something really, really cool about it. What am I missing? Is there anything else you want to throw in there? Anything that you want to talk about? I don't want to, like I said, I just want to let everybody from the different groups just talk about anything that they need to talk about.
Nothing's coming to mind, honestly.
In the House is looking for new hosts, isn't it?
Yes, thank you.
Well, we are looking towards what In the House is going to look like past episode 100. And nothing's been set in stone, but we are going to be... let me shut this up. Because it won't...
We're having all kinds of audio things.
Yeah.
He's playing with his phone for the audio people.
But
you got a yellow card.
On silent.
That's an honor. That's an honor, Cody.
Nothing's been set in stone, but we are looking at what the future is going to look like, and I think that we have some really good things moving forward. I don't think that there's anything that we can really say right now, but it's going to be good regardless of what it is.
Cool, man. That's awesome. And if there's anything, if there's anything that we can do through here to help signal boost anything, we're more than welcome to do it. Excuse me. It's just a matter of the communication as far as pushing things out to the support. Oh, don't they have a webpage too? The Scouts of South have a webpage?
Absolutely. It's just a home base for articles and In the House. It's not updated as often as the Coopers because Taylor does an amazing job making sure that you guys are fed with content. But anytime that we get something published, scoutshouse.com has all the deets.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And like I said, if there's anything we could do to help signal boost anything, we're more than happy to do it. It's just whatever we could do. Like I said, I use the word cross-pollinate. I don't know if that's the right. It seems a little dorky to say that.
A little bit.
Okay. But that's my thing.
Leveraging synergies. Make it nice and corporate.
Nice. Anything else we can add from the... Is anybody still yelling at us about the sound? Or?
The sound is better.
Okay.
But it is still weird. They say that it's tinny and kind of robotic. And I kind of agree with them that it might be the OBS settings. So before we get Taylor on, I'm going to drop the stream and then bring it back up.
Oh,
cool.
Okay.
I've already warned everybody.
Okay, so we're going to be off for about a minute or so?
Probably less.
Okay, so while we're waiting to do that, thank you so much, Cody. Hopefully, we'll get you back on here.
Man.
I enjoy coming on. Thank you so
thanks,
much.
Pal. Appreciate it. So don't go anywhere. We're going to take a short commercial break while we bring Taylor on.
I wish I could pop a commercial.
You never know someday.
It'd be better.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in about a minute.
I'll be right back. Just hit
run.
F5 in your browser here in about 20 seconds.
Thank you. I think.
Boom.
Yeah.
We're back.
Let us know how we sound right off the bat, guys.
Thank you.
We know how we look. There's no fixing that.
We know how we look.
Yeah, sorry about that.
So thank you so much for hanging out with us. Some great guests so far. Robin Pryor, thank you. Liza Weeter. Prestigiacomo. Cody Ruth just got off. Thank you. Some great stuff. And we're going to have Taylor join us to talk about the roster because I haven't really been, I've been following, but you're so smart.
No, I try.
Yeah, but before we do that, I think we should have a little bit of a break, a little 2-minute break. It's Valentine's Day coming up tomorrow.
Oh God.
Okay, so I have a couple questions for everybody,
Oh, no.
and I want let me just get your. Too bad we should get a little questions that I'm going to ask you guys about Valentine's Day.
No improvement on the audio.
Okay, no improvement.
No.
It is what it is.
Yeah, the next step would be rebooting the laptop.
No, we're not going. We can't do that. Anyway, guys,
It's gonna be weird for a little while.
Just pretend you're from Japan. It's gonna be fine.
yeah, exactly. Just Domo Moricato, Mr. Favorite love song. You got a favorite love song, Derek?
Time after time.
Nice, Cyndi Lauper, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you tell me?
Sing it in the car.
Man, that is a good one. That Meatloaf song, I won't do that. It's probably one of my favorite
That
ones.
is a good
to be honest
song.
with you.
He's
I don't know
amazing.
why.
His
Yeah.
comeback on that one album was
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Bat Out of Hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Unchained Melody.
Ooh.
I used to sing that at weddings. Let me tell you something. There were two songs. If the people weren't dancing, it was either that one or that song by the Duprees. What was that other one? Oh, I can't think. You belong to me. If you did that, everybody would get up. So that was one. There's a song, man. Ordinary. It's not really a love song, but Ordinary World by I think it's Duran Duran.
To the ordinary.
Yes, great song.
Pick a Motown song though, really.
Oh,
Yeah, I
yes.
get down with any one of those.
Yes, absolutely. If you could put a message on a candy heart, what would it be?
I don't know if I can say that on the air.
Yes, you can. Pretend. Put bleeps in.
It would. I mean, GFY.
That's not a love. That's not a. Well, it could be.
KMA. So,
How much do you cost? I don't think that fits on a.
Quanto Cuesta. That might fit.
So you'll know why in a second.
There it is.
And mine will be "Put Me in Your Mouth."
Oh, stop! Come on! What are you doing? For romantic dinner, preferred location. Now, campfires. Everybody. What are you kidding? I'm trying to move on, but that ain't gonna
It's
happen.
candy. It is candy.
They have those. That's like you can buy those.
Yes.
Like what is it, Spencer Gifts or some shit? I don't know.
Oh my gosh. So to
Did you say romantic dinner?
yeah. Well, if you look, campfires are always romantic, right? Like fires
yeah.
So would you
Depends on
rather?
who you're talking to.
Right, that's true.
Is there
So-
a hockey mask involved?
PT Show Club has
let's
great
work,
wings.
Let's work with no. And let's say that if you had a choice between a campfire at a campground in the woods or on the beach, which one would you have?
Oh, campfire in the woods, man.
Okay.
That's my thing.
I know my wife, and she would definitely not go for the woods. So.
Yeah, okay.
Beach, easy.
Yeah, beaches. I love the ocean, man.
I just love mountains.
Mountains are awesome too. Do you all have
Throw a football
look?
over
I know this is may not technically be a guy thing, but do you have a favorite romantic movie?
When Harry Met Sally.
That is a good one.
Oh my
that is a good one.
I mean, Die Hard has romance in it.
Fifth Element.
Fifth Element.
Ooh,
Really?
yeah.
A little bit.
Forget Paris.
Oh, that's a good one.
That is a good movie, man. I really like that
Dude,
one.
I watch a lot of horror movies. I don't know.
I couldn't tell. I mean, I could tell, but I couldn't tell. Okay, if you had to cook a dinner for your significant other on Valentine's Day, what would it be?
Burned.
Danielle would want tacos.
Hemlock.
There's a little honesty.
I would make
happening over here.
tacos.
I wasn't trying to go there with that. Something with poison in it. No, what is it? She likes tacos?
Oh, Danielle and I go to a new taco joint just about every weekend. So
What do you think?
I don't know, man. My wife would rather me take her somewhere. And I'm actually not bad in the kitchen, but yeah, that's a.
I'm not bad anywhere.
oh god, it's going down. Right
I'm
now.
sorry.
I don't know why
We've got
let you
Tinny-
convince me to come on this show.
Lots of tinny audio and
Okay.
sexual
I apologize.
innuendos.
No, I wasn't going there. Okay, last question. Grammar school Valentine's dance. Did you guys ever do that
Yeah,
kind
we
of thing?
did those.
Do you remember
The
those?
$10 carnation.
I went to a
that
public
you
school in the South End. We didn't have anything like
They
that.
didn't have anything like that because we had them.
No.
Our grammar school Valentine's dance. You would sit there. I was going to ask for memories, and you would sit there and you would be at arm's length, and you do this thing while you were dancing. You would like Frankenstein.
Well, my buddies were always asking the DJ to just play some Skinner and get the hell
Oh,
out.
there you
That's what we always did. I don't know about you guys.
Oh, I don't know, man.
Then they
What about
they dropped the duck dance on us.
Oh, yeah, that's
Valentine's.
Yeah.
Nothing?
We didn't have these dances in my school. There were like 6 people in my class. There wasn't any point.
Okay,
They taught us to square dance. That's not the same thing.
nice. Oh, let me do that. Does that change anything? Ask if they change.
Actually,
anything.
that sounds a little better.
Did the audio guys?
Did the audio just change? I just saw that the Phantom was changed. Maybe
How did
that.
that get turned off?
I don't know.
We
I
played.
probably did it.
We
Yeah.
played with the Phantom.
Played with the Phantom. Taylor Sorrels, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great, man.
Welcome
Thanks for
back.
having me.
So, you look great. I love the beard on you. Man. I
Looks good
really
on
do.
you. Thank you.
Some people can't do beards like me, but you can. But no, you look great.
Appreciate you.
How's everybody?
We're good, man. Everybody's been getting over, fighting the flu in my house for the last 2 weeks. But,
Ew.
Yeah, I just got
think
over
we're
it.
all on
Just
the
got
other
over it
side
myself.
of it. So
It's terrible. It
doing
is the
all right.
worst. It's been. I mean, there was a flu back in Jersey in the '90s where people were literally dying. I mean, it was, but this was just as bad. It's terrible.
SARS.
But wanted to have you on. Please tell us a little bit about the roster and what you've been seeing and anything like that.
Well, there's not a whole lot to tell, primarily because I think that a couple days after the championship game, we announced we were bringing back 16 guys.
Yeah,
so
that's amazing.
the only players from last season that we lost or didn't come back are Tim Dobrovolsky, Paco Craig, Sean Francis. Now my mind's going blank a little bit.
Oh shit! I turned on the voice recognition.
Oh, there you go.
This is the most professional show we've ever
Oh my
done.
god! I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Ben
Sonny
Lynn-
Johnny's not.
Yeah, Sonny Johnny's not back.
Yeah, I was surprised by that. I was a little
I
surprised by
wasn't.
something. Really?
No.
Okay.
Did you already say Frano?
I did say Frano. I mean, frankly, it was no one that I didn't expect to come back.
Frano's going to clear up a lot of cap space. Not what I cap
Probably,
space, but,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. But the good news is he's still in town and apparently still involved with stuff with the club.
Good.
On the coaching side of things,
Ah.
with academy. I don't think there's anything official or anything, but he just comes and does stuff,
Right.
which is very cool. I was super ecstatic to hear that because he's the nicest guy.
I ran into him at freaking Meyer.
That's not surprising. I mean, he's just a family guy. He really is. He can't. He's very interesting to talk to. Super sweet guy.
Yep.
So anyway, but like I said, he lives here in town, so it was kind of a bonus, and I'm glad he's still involved with the club. But he didn't do much in the way of contributing last year in my book, if I'm being honest. And so,
Okay. Yeah.
given how expensive he
towards the end.
was, and the amount of production we got out of him in 2019, I wasn't surprised not to see him back.
Right.
So since then, we've added Corbin Bone, who used to be a FC Cincinnati midfielder. Really good player.
Yeah.
And annoying when we played him, that's for sure. And so I'm excited to have somebody annoying on our team for a change. And then signed Jimmy Ockford, who's played 1 year at U of L and played elsewhere in college, but finished out his college career at U of L. Got drafted by the Sounders, played with their 2 team for a little bit.
Okay.
And then spent last season on loan after a couple other transfers down in Nashville, and he's the one who was part of that game-winning play against us, which was just an incredible play. I mean, it's one of those things you couldn't even draw it up if you wanted to. But anyway, really good, solid defender, and as soon as we signed him, that was my signal that Paco wasn't coming back.
Right.
But based on what I've heard so far out at camp, he's fit in really well with the squad, and I expect him to be a starter, frankly, day one.
Big, right? I mean,
Yeah, he's a big dude, but really rangy, smart guy, very aggressive.
Okay.
But stays home. It seems like, so it doesn't do anything too crazy, and good on set pieces, which is nice.
Is it fair to say that you can make a direct comparison between him and Paco, or no?
No, I don't think they're the same kind of player.
Okay.
I don't know how good Jimmy is with his feet, if I'm being honest. I mean, we'll find out. Paco was really good with his feet. Sometimes a little too good, given the yellow card situation last year. But I think we've really done ourselves a really nice job bringing him in, and then he's got some compatriots back there with because Alexi Sway's back,
Right.
And Sean Tosh is back, and I am leaning towards probably seeing Tosh again in a starting 11 on day one, but we'll see. I like either one of those guys, and excited to have both those dudes back.
So backing up a little bit, asking, is it wrong to be a little concerned that maybe there's a comfort level that we're a little too comfortable? You know what I'm saying? When you have that many people come back, it's a good thing. The familiarity, so on and so forth. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know if that.
Part of me wants to take that same tack. We didn't have we had a good year last year. It wasn't as good as we'd hoped it was going to be. Finished 4th in the league. That's our worst ever finish.
Right.
Finished with 60 points or 58 points. That's 8 fewer than the year before when we finished 2nd. Goal difference wasn't too bad. We gave up about 3 more goals than we did the seasons before, but scored 10 fewer than Cam Lancaster had a lot to do that. Right. So when Cam got signed back last week, that erased a little bit of my fear on that. But I feel like a lot of guys there were some guys on the roster last year that I feel like underperformed that have got big opportunities this year to make names for themselves. Number one in my book being Abdou Jam. He was a guy who, after some fits and starts, and they finally figured out he's a number 9, just couldn't find the back of the net, but was constantly in the right place.
Yes, he was. Yeah,
He got the goal against DC, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He did. In the preseason, he did score our only goal so far this preseason. I take that back. We scored one against Nashville. No, we didn't. We didn't score against DC.
No, okay.
John scored against Nashville. We were goalless against DC. But in any event, there's going to be some competition up there. I was disappointed a little bit with Luke Spencer last season. He only scored 8 goals. But to be fair, I was looking at some stats last night. He was a much more influential player as far as whether or not we scored in games than I probably gave him credit for. He had a much better season the year before, and the year before that, he was our leading goal scorer, but it was only with 10 back in 2017.
Okay.
Of course, 17 was our committee year.
Yeah, it was. And that was a strange year, but everything kind of worked out. But in any event, guys are going to be working for spots. I'm excited. The position I'm most excited to watch, frankly, is right back, even though they don't necessarily play the same way. But Pat McMahon, when he finally got inserted in the regular rotation last season, is really what turned things around for us in the last third of the year.
Okay.
And while he's not the guy that you would necessarily pinpoint, it's amazing what happened when he got regulars. When he started getting regular minutes, how all of a sudden the right half of the field was a lot easier for us to take care of. You weren't putting out fires all the time and rotating Oscar over or whatever happened to be. So I don't give Pat nearly enough credit. I don't know if anybody does.
Really?
But he's just super solid defensively. Very positionally sound. Generally makes really good decisions, and he can put a cross in every now and then. You're not asking for him for offense,
right?
But he did score a goal last year, so that's not too bad given what he does. But Akil Watts is a very different kind of player, and I think if you have Akil back there, you're playing a very different kind of game plan. Akil can play in the midfield, defensive midfield. He can even be a number 8, but likes to get forward. He's got some really good ball skills. But just like any other young player who's kind of learning to play a defensive position, he kind of gets caught out of position a little more often than Hackworth would have liked. That's why I didn't see the field that much last year.
Right.
But he's got a lot of talent. He's only 19 years old or something like that, 20. And I think he's got loads of potential. So I'm really excited to see what he can do. I don't know how he did in these preseason matches. Nobody really tells us anything. But those are guys I'm really excited to see. Excited to see how Cam does, how Cam fits back in. I think Corbin Bone's going to give Magnus a run for his money at the 10 spot. But these are all good problems to have.
Yeah, I guess I was wondering, are we using our microphones, or maybe we didn't get stuck using that microphone, dude?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now.
Hold on. That's how we'll know.
Find out in about 5 seconds.
10
seconds.
So if you just heard Matt say, "Can you hear me saying this?" We're not even using our microphones.
I'm pretty sure that we're not using that one.
Okay.
That microphone's disabled.
Okay, good.
Okay, so it's a little long in the tooth, maybe.
We didn't get younger necessarily.
Yeah.
But like I said, we do have a keel. We've gotten there may be another signing on the horizon. I don't know if we're going to find out about it before the team's already left or has already left for Utah, I guess.
Yeah.
And they're going to be broadcasting those games. So if there's a number out there we don't recognize, we're going to find out about it.
Yeah, it's true.
And knowing Phil Durbin, he's really good at picking that stuff out. There's a guy.
The mystery of Gomez.
Yeah, and it's not the one that we thought it was. It's not Josue. I don't know if he's still with the team or not. I haven't. I don't know. But if he is, if it's who I think it is, it's going to be a real exciting player. I can't say anything more about that.
Sure.
Secrecy. But if it's who I think it is, and if he's still with the team, that's going to be pretty cool.
Okay.
I don't think Hackworth is any less cognizant of the average age of our roster than anybody else.
Sure.
Our problem last year was more of an injury-related deal than anything else. I mean, you basically forced Speedy Williams, who has been a box-to-box guy his entire career, to play the 6, and he eventually learned how to do it really well. You didn't have Paolo, who's just, more of a collective, everybody listens to him type guy out there. Okay. And when he and Luke aren't on the field, it's a different team.
Sure.
Yeah. Luke was really influential as far as the front line goes, and Ombi on the same point. Things were just really in flux a lot last season. We don't know how this season's going to go at all with injuries, obviously.
Right.
Hopefully we have some better luck, because last year I just felt like we were really unfortunate for long stretches on that front. But that, like I said, I think that's a legitimate concern as far as average age goes. But this is a short-term problem right now because the club thankfully is looking towards the development side of things, which is the thing I am most excited about with Louisville City these days. Like, I love our first team, but I'm looking forward to watching U23.
Absolutely, I can't wait.
The Academy Cup is this weekend. I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes. We got a bunch of really promising young talent on that team. One or two of which we may see in the senior team as far as academy deals come. I mean, both the Winders are on there, and Moo Garrick is on there as well. But there may be others that could potentially see time with us one of these days. And I know that's something that Mario Sanchez wants to see happen. So, there's a forward-looking element to this, and that's one of the neat things about James O'Connor coming back because I think Hackworth is so focused on trying to get the senior team where he wants it to be that it's hard to do that and playing for this thing that doesn't even exist yet and playing for these other 2 teams or 3 teams or whatever it is. And having O'Connor, who's built things from the ground before, as we know, we were all there for that. I think he's got a lot more freedom without having to have those day-to-day responsibilities to kind of vision, for lack of a better term, what the next steps and how that plan needs to work and how it all fits in, how it all fits together.
So I guess based on the roster that we have right now, what would you say is our strength and what would you say is a weakness?
Man, I think things based on the 2 preseason results. I didn't see the game, so I don't know how this works or not. We're always going to be a good attacking team. We're always going to be a very strong possession team.
Right.
We got based on Hackworth's comments, we have some of the same problems in this preseason as we had early last season, which is figuring out what you're doing in transition when you lose the ball. And that's going to take some time. Hopefully, we don't get taught a lesson 4-1 like we did last season against North Carolina in the very same opening game we have this year. But that's something we're going to be really careful about because sometimes we want to score so bad we just press
too much.
Yeah.
I know how you feel. Believe me when I tell you, I know how you feel.
I'm not even sick. Anyway, that's a big concern though.
Yeah.
Have we heard anything about Napo so far? Is he continuing to improve?
Who?
Napo Matsoso?
I know Coach had positive things to say about him. I was just going through our stats from last season, and was one of my favorite players on the team last year. And I was surprised to see how much my eyes weren't deceiving me about how influential he was in games.
He's going to have tough competition, so hopefully that motivates him to
his plus minus on goals per 90 last season was 1 per appearance.
Really?
Yeah. It's incredible. And then there's another one too. Like he was top 3 in the team in tackles and interceptions. He was so much better
from
than
where he was tackles.
Yeah. Well, he's playing. I mean, he's playing like an 8. He's not an. They're putting him more at the 6 right now. They're making him more a defensive player.
Okay.
Which when he was at Kentucky when he played college soccer, he was the most creative player on the team. So you made him a 10. You put him in the attack every chance you got. I mean, he's not a big guy, obviously, but he's got so much energy and willingness to get to get stuck in. And decision making could be better in certain places, but you can't deny the amount of fight the guy's got.
Right.
And he's a really smart player. He's always got a pretty good passing percentage. Makes the right play 9 times out of 10.
Okay.
So I'm excited to see. I think we're going to see more of him this year. Really, how you distribute minutes around that midfield that we've got is going to be very difficult. It really is.
I would look. I think we get stronger. We're stronger. When you talk about Spencer, Lancaster, the amount of people we have up front is strong, and then defensively, I think that's where I'm worried about a little bit more.
It's kind of depends on how we set up.
Right.
To be honest, I mean, in a 4-3-3.
Yeah, I want to say that I don't think we're weak anywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
But and here's the thing: it's going to be watching us play this year is going to be different than we've ever seen because if y'all haven't taken your stadium tour yet, that field is freaking gigantic.
Yeah, it's huge. The biggest it can possibly be.
How we're going to be able to manage to cover that much space is going to be something worth watching. Now, for example, when we play Newark Red Bull up at Montclair, that's a big field up there.
Yes, it is.
And they love playing up there because there's so much space, which if you're a possession team like we are, you keep the ball, space is your friend.
Right.
But the speed with which we're going to get back and get compact when the ball's turned over is going to be a real determining factor. I think we can do it. You just have to. There's got to be keys and cues and things you have to be able to read quickly and make those decisions.
They might line it and space it on the edges so they can put boards up because there's no LEDs.
Yeah.
So it could be smaller than what we think.
All I know is everything I've been told by Evan mostly is that they're going to make it as big as they can possibly make it.
That's what he says on the tours. That is the absolute biggest size you can legitimately have a FIFA regulated.
Yeah. So
the biggest you can possibly
length is great, but the width part is what scares me because it's the lateral movement that we've got to be careful about. Especially if you play 3 in the midfield, 3 up front, creates a lot of space. Whereas if we don't play flat lines ever anyway. But if you just have one guy sitting in front of the defense, that's a lot of ground for him to cover. But at the same time, we don't like playing with 2 because then that disconnects your midfield from your attack. So it's people are going to be moving depending on what kind of phase of the game we're in, and they've just got to do a really good job recognizing that. And I think that's something they're really working on right now in preseason.
I don't know if you've done anything as far as paying attention to any of the other teams at all? Just not off the cuff. I mean, if you haven't, no big deal.
Miami's going to be good.
Yeah.
They've signed some really good players. Sebastian Velasquez, who was a really good player for El Paso last season, a really good player for El Paso, just signed for them. They signed 2 or 3 other really good guys. I think Mario Williams, they signed him as well, who was just a bang on the best 9 in the league when he was with Charleston a couple of years ago. Indy's going to be good. I mean, Ilya's back, Pasher's back, and they signed a couple other really strong offensive pieces. Pittsburgh's going to be Pittsburgh. Yeah. I mean, they lost Joe Greenspan, who was a huge part of why their defense was so successful last season, and I think they lost a goalkeeper as well. But it's still Bob Lilly, and they're still going to be very difficult. They were actually more entertaining to watch last season.
Yes, they were. Absolutely, you're absolutely correct.
So it's nice to see that Bob Lilly's got more leaves than just the pack it in and send somebody up.
I'm really interested in St. Louis. I mean, it seems like you would think. Well, I'll be honest with you. The reason I'm saying that is they've had some turnover. But I wonder what kind of, and I'm saying this just as a fan of the league, I wonder what kind of passion they put into this because there's no more St. Louis next year. Right?
I think they've got.
Or is it 2 more years? Oh,
yeah, I think
I take that back.
I want to say 2022.
I thought it was 1 year. I'm sorry.
I mean, their supporters are going to bring it, but I have no idea what the team's going to be like.
I mean, I don't think they're going to be any different than they ever are.
Okay.
That's sad for me to say. I don't enjoy saying that.
Right.
But it's hard for me to envision why they would bother to put a whole lot of resources in the league when they're into their team when they're not. They're going to operate and people are going to come, but they don't have any incentive to. Right. Their aspirations are 0 at this point.
Right.
Of course, as of now, their MLS and USL teams are not really connected in any kind of way that I can see.
No, they're not. I mean, it's not even the same ownership.
Yeah.
There's 1 or 2 maybe that are common owners, but otherwise it's not even the same group. Indy is going to be good. Tampa's done a really good, a lot of work in the off season. And again, I wish I'd done better.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm doing this off the cuff. I apologize.
The top 4 or 5 teams would be us, Miami, Indy, Tampa. Those are the ones that come directly to mind.
Right.
I'm probably sleeping on North Carolina a little bit. I mean, Dave Serkin's a good coach, but they haven't done a whole lot in transfers.
Okay.
Charlotte is in the same weird boat.
Yes, right.
Red Bull's gonna Red Bull. They're always good. They're a bunch of automatons. You never know what they're gonna have. I don't think the Union are gonna be good. I don't think Sporting KC is gonna be very good. Although they did bring back Christian Duke, who's a good player.
Do you foresee the Legion getting any loanees from Birmingham, England?
No, but that'd be fun. If y'all haven't been paying attention to that,
that's kind of funny.
I think they're going to be better this year, and I think Memphis is going to be better this year. I mean, it's I don't know how much shakeups are going to be from the top 10 from last season to this season. There'll be some.
Right.
But yeah, I think the league's always getting better, which is good. Everybody's up in their game, which is why I part of the back of my mind always tingles a little bit. Like we're not doing a whole lot in terms of upgrading the roster per se. I mean we've got 20 guys that have played for us before.
Right.
We keep going to the final. How much more upgraded can we get?
I know. That's what I have to remind myself of.
Yeah.
But last season was a difficult one for me, and we got back there, but just because of the beauty of playoffs in American sports, we finished fourth.
Those last 4 games before the final, what an amazing!
That was fun.
It was sick.
That was fun.
I'll never forget that.
Tampa game, the Pittsburgh game, the Indy game. Oh yeah, they were all.
Jeez,
a lot of fun.
Even with the game, who do we beat 8 to whatever?
Sporting.
Oh yeah, Sporting
Yeah,
KC.
So let me ask you this, as a fan, just as a fan, and we didn't talk about this. You just mentioned 2 teams that weren't 2 teams, at least branding wise.
Yeah. U2.
U2. Where are you with that? What do you think about that? Does it matter to you?
I don't care.
Okay.
It doesn't matter to me. They're non-entities. They're dates on a schedule as far as
Right,
I'm concerned.
right.
I mean,
You too.
if
Are you saying
I feel
that
bad
more
for the people that used to cheer for the Steel and
Right.
really cared about them
They
when
did.
they were
And
still
there was
Lehigh.
several of them, yeah.
I feel bad for those people, but I don't. And I kind of feel badfor the Swope Park people because that was kind of a neat.
Swope Park
thing.
was a great brand for that level.
But it didn't make sense for them to keep operating it. I mean,
Right.
it was
Right.
a business decision. When you look at what the purpose of that team is to the Sporting Kansas City organization, it's
Sure.
not
Sure.
worth the amount of resources dedicated to make it something different.
And then I guess let me ask 2 questions bouncing off of that. I mean, and that's, I agree. I agree with everything. It's just that from a brand, like as a fan of the league, I personally want to see independent teams as many as
Of course,
possible.
because there's personality and rivalry and things like that.
Right, because I think, going back even to last year, if the Red Bulls were their own brand, what a rivalry for those 4 years. Because we played in the conference championship, 3 times? Was it 3 times?
Just through, yeah.
I mean, it was, and
17,
even the regular season games were amazing. So I just wondering, long term, because this whole thing is just, it's so in flux. I mean, we're just, it's swirling and it hasn't turned into whatever it's going to turn into yet. Does it matter to you if it's more individual
I
branding?
think if they're good enough to play in the league, they should be here.
Okay.
I mean, I totally agree that it kind of sucks some of the personality and atmosphere out of a game to play a 2 team, especially when you're at the 2 team.
Right.
New York Red Bull has every right to think that they belong here.
Sure.
And and Real Salt Lake's actually doing it almost better than they are.
Yes.
With
I mean,
Real
they won a
Monarchs.
championship.
They built their own stadium. They have fans.
That's what I'm
that
saying.
go to
There's a
games.
little bit of a different.
I feel bad for the Red Bulls outfit because they are exciting to watch.
Yes,
They're
sir. Good
always
team.
that's a great
Great academy.
every match you watch of theirs is entertaining.
Their academy is freaking.
Yeah, they're fabulous. So, that's a whole kettle of fish that means nothing to me honestly.
Okay.
But
Right.
it just doesn't bother me that much. Would I rather see everybody have their own thing and try to help grow the league and grow their own team and brand? Yes, I would love that.
Right.
But you can't tell me New York doesn't deserve to be here.
Sure. No, I agree with you. That leads to the next thing is that.
Now some of them don't, but like I don't know how Union. I feel like it's just kind of falling, which is really too bad because they were doing
That's
a lot
their
of really good
ownership.
things.
Their ownership's a bag of dog shit.
It's funny though because they do a really good job developing kids to get to their first
Kids,
team.
right?
Yeah, but that's what their job is.
Well,
but then they don't
okay.
go anywhere after that.
Right. And when you talk to their fans out there, it's the same. And go back to when Hackworth coached them. You go back and everybody would talk about, well, how did you feel about Hackworth? We couldn't feel anything about him because anything that went down really wasn't his fault.
Yeah.
Because the ownership was just horrible. And I don't know how much of that's changed. How do you feel about making 2 teams, forcing them into League One? Any opinion?
I mean,
I don't really have one. I don't even know. I'm
I think
curious.
it depends on whether it makes sense for the parent organization. I mean, I can see some arguments because some of these folks like Seattle and Portland are just here to blood their U23 team or their U7 or their U20 team or whatever. The results do not matter to them. And I think that's the kind of conversation that is going to long time down the road lead to this whole promotion or relegation thing between USL entities being League One and the championship. And that's the kind of driver that I think might make it happen because you're going to have clubs that are unhappy about being shoved down they don't deserve to be, and clubs that are unhappy about or don't want to keep paying the league fees every year for playing up here if they could get the same results without getting their asses kicked by grown men.
Right.
So, but the stumbling block for all that is League One only has 10 teams in it, or something. Get 30 teams down there, and then we can have a conversation. And that's what they're working towards. So, I'm a cynic, and I'll believe it when I see it. But I do think that if League One keeps growing, and there are new people popping up.
There's a lot
once
of
a
new
week,
teams popping all over the place.
trying to get that going.
Right.
So that's important to keep an eye on for me anyway, because the more that league grows, the more stable it gets, the more possible that becomes. So
I think that
I think that's the best way, frankly, Joe. Sorry to interrupt you.
No.
To determine who should be where.
Right, and I'm looking forward to teams creating their own affiliations with whoever they want to build them. If you want to build an affiliation with an MLS team, do it.
Yeah.
If you want to build, and we've talked about this before, this area is completely it hasn't been siphoned yet. It's raw. If I'm a European team, why wouldn't I want to come to Louisville and say, what do you guys want to do? You want to do something? Because why not? I mean, why would you not? It doesn't have to be even that. It doesn't have to be an EPL team or whatever. It could be South American, whatever it is. This is just this raw, unrefined area.
I think people are going to start figuring out about it pretty soon. I mean, Louisville maybe less so, but I mean, Indy and Cincinnati have been putting out talent for eons, and they've been soccer hotbeds for a very long time. I mean, Louisville's got a smaller culture, but that doesn't mean that the talent isn't here. But we're talking about that academy team. Those kids come from everywhere.
Yeah.
About half of them are from Louisville. You got a kid from Shelbyville. You got a kid from Sales. You got some kids from Bowling Green. There's talent out there. It just needs the opportunity to showcase itself and the opportunity to develop and compete against better clubs. And so that's this weekend's the start of that from the USL perspective. I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah,
but I mean, could you blame, like, Bayern Munich's got a partnership with Dallas,
right?
And then Norwich City and Tampa are doing a thing, but I think it's mostly based on color scheme. But there could be more to it than that. And maybe it just started out on Twitter, but hell, maybe Birmingham City and Birmingham actually get something. I mean, right now it's just all fun and games, but you never know.
You never know. My fear.
One of the reasons why Wayne Estopinal wanted us to be purple, so we would be like brand affiliated with Orlando City, was part of it was his ownership. Part of it was Orlando City's ownership in our club when we first got started. But there was a point in time where we were trying to get an affiliation between our two clubs, and this is all like a matter of months before all that blew up. Mm-hmm. Our club and somebody down in Brazil. I don't know who, because De Silva, who owns the lion's share of Orlando City, is Brazilian. There's no purple clubs in Brazil that I know of. But in any event, they were trying to build some kind of international relationship between at least those two. We were trying to tag along into that. Well, that exploded not too long after we got kicked off. But that was something that I know Wayne, when he was prominently involved with the club, was always open to. Just not the right opportunity to present itself, and he had a lot of irons in the fire and couldn't spend a whole lot of time on it. I'm sure, knowing Brad and the other folks in the front office, it's something that we at Louisville City would be open to, but it would have to be, the right fit. And I don't think we're going around looking for it necessarily either. But it'd be neat.
Right. I guess my biggest concern, and maybe as time goes on, it's not a concern. It's just something that I'm worried about, is that eventually this league gets subjugated under MLS, and they force this thing where you have to be part of an MLS thing to be part of a USL thing. I mean, I'm not stupid. I'm talking. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's just I'm concerned about that, because I don't want to see this turn into AAA soccer. That's my biggest fear.
I don't see why that would ever. At this point, USL, I feel like, is trying to distance itself from MLS. Not necessarily to go the NASL route and challenge for Division I, and lawsuits and all that stuff.
Dumb.
But this is a big country. MLS is in 30 markets or something like that. Mm-hmm. There's a lot more cities in the United States than that. There's more than 100 professional clubs in this country.
They're not even in 30 because they double dip.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. LA and New York. So.
And those two New York teams, one of them's playing. They're both going to be playing games in New Jersey.
Yeah. Well. Now, I know you love bragging on NYCFC, and rightly so, but they finally look like they've got a landing.
Finally have a stadium.
In the Bronx, which is very cool.
It's very good for that. Very good for that community.
The minute they get a dedicated facility, that thing's going to blow up. I'm 95%.
There's that area of the Bronx, if you're not familiar with it, they have done a lot of work over the last 15 years to try and revitalize that area. Because when I used to go to Yankee games back in the day, not good. I mean, it was very, very difficult. It was rough. And I'm glad that they settled there, because the initial idea, I think they had stars in the rise of trying to put something on the river. You're talking about $1 billion complex. I mean, just because of the taxes and everything like that. And then hoping people show up, which, even on top of that, NYCFC is great for people that are fans of, known people in the area. They like it, but it's not buried in this community yet, because there's no community.
It takes time.
Right, but that's what I'm saying, is that putting it in a stadium, in a community, will help that happen.
Sure. Well, they'll have a dedicated, like I said, it'll be a dedicated home. They already have a big academy set up.
Oh.
It's more in Long Island, I think, than it is in the Bronx.
Right,
but-
it goes east. And then
Yeah.
Claudio Ren, you had a huge footprint on that, too.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a big deal in that.
Yeah.
So,
how do you think that compares to Queensland?
which one?
Queensboro.
Queensboro. Are you talking about
Queensland.
Via's
Via's
team? I think that's
Queensboro.
tremendous. That's one of the things that I love seeing. Via, Donovan,
Howard.
Dempsey, or Howard. I'm sorry. What the fuck is wrong with me? Howard. Seeing these guys involved in USL teams, deeply involved, committed, that have no ties to anything else. I love that.
Yeah.
You know, I absolutely love that. And there's going to be more. I think there'll be more as time goes on.
Getting back to your question, U.S. soccer has proven to be pretty toothless. So MLS's ability to do much in terms of telling a league that's independent from it what to do is going to be limited.
True.
And that's kind of where I think I'd leave that. And MLS does a good enough job of stepping in it on its own foot all the time. It's an improving league. I don't hate MLS. There's entertaining soccer to be watched.
I'm not going to be one of those people that does that.
It's a slow upward slope, but it's an upward slope. And this new CBA deal that they just signed should bring some more quality to the league, but also make it more exciting for younger players to come and develop there and be sold on, which is what I think they should have done all this time.
Right.
But it's exciting to watch.
And I'm not an MLS fan. I've got issues with it. But that's the thing is that I respect it. And you try to see both sides of it. You try to be objective. How are you going to be crappy to an MLS team in a community, say like New Jersey and Harrison? They've got this the academy, which is giving opportunities to kids that might have not gotten that opportunity. So how are you supposed to sit there and take a crap on them? That's not fair. I don't think that's fair.
Yeah.
And now they have other issues. I mean, find 20,000 people in that area that actually care about that team. Sorry, I live out there.
There's so much to do there. You got to work hard to get to.
Well,
it's not like
but
when
you gotta
the
work.
big games that show up, the big games like the ICC games that sell out all the time.
Sure.
That's an event. That's not a
Right.
every weekend deal like the Red Bulls are. And they play again. The product on the field is good.
Right, it is.
It's just it's all the other.
Well, it's
stuff.
okay. Who are you comparing it to? That's what I'm saying. Like
What's your alternative in New York City?
right, exactly in the area.
Yeah.
But we had, when Sanchez was on here, he said this. And who was it? And Wozniak. When Wozniak was on here too, he said the same thing. Like I asked him, when kids, he's a coach, a high school coach over at Collegiate, and I said, to your kids, what kits are they wearing?
No, it's
They're
it's
all
all
wearing
in Europe.
European.
Yeah, sure. Mhm.
And what, as long as that's happening, I think that MLS is a feeder league.
Well, I think that's a little bit of confirmation bias because here in Louisville, no one's gonna watch MLS. Yeah, it's on TV, but if your TV options are Serie A, English Premier League, Liga MX, or Bundesliga or MLS,
right.
I mean, there's 4 other better options in front of you, or you go see your local team live, and that's what's fun.
But just let me push back on it a little bit. The whole thing is that all of those happen not at the same time that MLS games are on.
That's true.
So that's what I'm saying. To build some sort of connection to your fans in this country, you got to give them something that they want to watch. But anyway, go ahead.
I think MLS's issue is they've got to capture their own domestic markets first. Like they're just having trouble getting them recognized in their own cities.
Absolutely.
And that's where they need to make their hay and focus on trying to become baseball or football later, which is going to take a long time. And they're 25 years in. And you get some credit for existing this long. That's pretty great.
Right. They're doing good things.
But it's like, for example, you're not going to meet a whole lot of NBA fans in Louisville, and this is a basketball city. Mm-hmm. But nobody here gives a damn about the NBA unless there's a Cardinal or a Wildcat playing on the team. They don't watch the game. I don't watch it until the playoffs, and even then, that's like 3 freaking months.
As a Knicks fan, I pretend it doesn't even exist.
Well, that's to your benefit. But it's one of those deals where if it's not in your face, you're not going to pay a whole lot of attention to it. And so kids are going to watch just what's on TV.
Right.
And in the summertime, you're not. Louisville City's playing, so why would you watch MLS?
Exactly.
At the same time when your club's
a little
playing?
MLS is irrelevant. That's the thing.
And a little bit of a power.
If you are not in their markets because you can't be through merit, they're going to be irrelevant.
Well, that's okay. They've got to, like I said, they've got to dominate their own market before they can start spreading out. They're going to have that's the nice thing about what USL is doing, which is continue trying to spread and build their own, so it doesn't become a MLS sections off parts of the entire country. No, they have their own pockets. USL teams have their pockets, League One, Championship, and Chattanooga is a Chattanooga FC town or whatever. Asheville is pulls pretty good for what they do. You know, North Carolina's got like 6 professional soccer teams in it. Yeah. It's crazy. And they all, well, except for the Independents, do pretty well. So,
and Wilmington, which folded.
Yeah, R.I.P. Press F. Pay respect for Wilmington.
Alas.
So in completely switch gears. As a parent going to Louisville City games, have you done a tour yet?
Yeah, I did. I was supposed to go with my whole family, but half of them were with the flu, so I only got to go with my younger son. But it was awesome. I mean, it's the most forward-thinking building. I knew it was going to be awesome, but there are things that they've done that I was
stunned.
That's pretty brilliant.
Beautiful.
I'm ecstatic about it. I can't wait for the first day. I mean, I've gotten to go on several tours because they keep giving me media passes for some reason, which I sparingly use. But every time there's an invitation to go see the stadium, I generally take.
Well, you've done a lot. No. Please, I accept that. Gratitude, because you've done a lot over the last 5-6 years with all the writing that you've done, and it's intelligent writing. It's good stuff. I mean, you deserve. You deserve it. Honestly,
I appreciate that. No, I'm like I said, I'm very grateful. It's fun to do, and it's been awesome to kind of see it from when it was a junkyard to where it is now. Right. In the span of just 18, 24 months or whatever it is. I mean, it's been incredible, and like I said, the project itself, they've really outdone themselves. Being honest with you, it's a really well thought out project. And that's just the stadium piece. I mean, there's a bunch of other stuff's going to come up around it pretty soon. In the next couple of years, and that's where they're really going to make money. But I'm sure they've spared some expenses, but you can't tell. I mean, it's awesome.
We couldn't get that beer track that just brings beers along every once in a while.
I was hoping for a droid, a beer droid.
But
would have been nice.
Cody and Paul before him were saying how great their views are, and the views from Scouts' house is pretty good. But this, I was.
What section are you in? I was going to ask you.
I'm in 208, so I bought like seats, and they're in the shade, and they're on the sideline for the first time ever, and I don't regret it at all. And it's gonna be awesome. So I'm kind of in between if you're looking at the press box, I'm in between the left corner of the press box and the corner flag.
Okay.
So it's a pretty good spot. I'm there with my dad, my kids, and my stepmom, and that's going to be great because when you take the tour, that's like I got to sit there and see what it looks like, and it's great. There's not a bad seat in the house, but then I got to go sit basically where the Coopers are, and I haven't sat with the Coopers for a long time. I should have, but I don't because I have my kids with me, and I've got things up going.
See, anybody that has children, I'm like, why would you want to be there? Honestly, I mean, I understand you got you're playing drums.
But Lincoln wouldn't go anywhere else.
Well, but still at the same time,
he's crazy though.
You're 7 years old. All of a sudden, you're getting hit with beer because
somebody
pours beer on your drum.
Who's that, Joe?
Who does that? Who would do that?
I moved over to Scouts' house like 3 years ago and didn't regret it because A, it's in the shade.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. B, is a picnic table, so I don't have to worry about kids getting up and moving out. Like they can kind of go and move around and play with their friends and stuff like that. So I really enjoyed that experience when I finally bought seats on the sideline. But where the Coopers sit in this stadium is freaking amazing.
Yeah.
That's the best seat in the house.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's up, so you can see everything. Like, Scouts' house is great. It's field level, though, and, like, things that happen on the far end are harder to see. When you're in about 2 rows up and where the Coopers are going to be, holy shit, it's going to be amazing.
And that's apparently that angle is the highest legal angle you can have in a building.
Yeah.
That you could possibly have.
I mean, it's not going to be like Dortmund or anything, but I mean, if we could ever really fill that up, it's going to be so cool. So I'm excited to see it.
So it's 10 o'clock. Anything else you want to share about anything? I mean,
no,
please
I'm
feel
good.
free.
I think I've talked a lot.
No, man, I'm glad you're here. I mean, that's why we had you. I mean, we're kind
Thanks for having me.
No, please. Is there anything going on that you want to share? Anything not going on? Anything that you personally have going on that you would?
That I personally have.
Yeah, sure.
I don't think this is that kind of podcast, Joe.
Yes, please.
I don't know.
I ate a lot of Mexican food yesterday.
There you go.
It was delicious.
But,
that's what that is.
What do you guys? Anything you want to share to end this deal?
Yeah, I'm sponsoring an amendment to the bylaws. Basically, what we've been doing the last couple of years on the Cooper's kits is we've been putting Wayne's initials, RWE, on the left sleeve. And I'm sponsoring an amendment that'll basically just say, from here on, we're always going to do that.
That's cool.
We're going to discuss it next meeting. We're going to vote on the following. So if anybody wants to come in, comment, we'll be open for that.
Awesome. Please, next Saturday, we'll be doing this podcast from Harbor House, 1 to 3, actually. We'll be open from 12 to 4, trying to get some painting stuff going on with the residents, or not the residents, I'm sorry, the clients that go there. It's a tremendous charity, and it's a tremendous thing. So hopefully, if you're watching this and you got a few minutes, just stop by, say hello, drive out, check everybody out. That's all I got. I mean, thank you to everybody that's been here. I mean, there's been plenty also here. So to everybody that was here, thank you so much for doing this. And hopefully you're all enjoying this. Once again, this will be here, and all the previous shows are on Twitch. Also, edited version on YouTube. Audio versions will be out on Saturday, and we have to go. It's a little late. It's time to go.
Yep.
So,
Sleepy time.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Thank you so much.